No, be who you are and love it, because that's beautiful. Knowing who you are, loving and embracing who you are is the most beautiful thing you can do.
The Empire Podcast.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Empire. And yes, we got another great episode. And we are here with Diesel 5001. And Deez, welcome to The Empire, man.
Thank you for having me. I'm blessed to be here. I appreciate you.
Bro, Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year. When the future.
Yeah, 2025 is here.
You realize like most of the movies and like books that we grew up, consuming, we're well past that time now.
Yes, iRobot is here.
Yeah. Was it Terminator 2 Judgment Day was like 97, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, Alien Nation 91. Even The Running Man was like 2018 or something like that.
Yeah. Have you seen that the clip of when they have like Michael J. Fox and Back to the Future, basically. Lloyd. I can't believe I can't think of his name right now. I feel so bad. But they brought him like to the time that they're supposed to be. So interesting, man. But yeah, we live in the future, bro. It's crazy.
Beautiful thing. Like, even like I remember the show was it Get Smart?
Get Smart.
Maxwell Smart. They had smartwatches back then, And like now we have this. Like, did they have that technology back then, or were they just forward thinking? Yeah.
I guess a little column A, column B.
Yeah.
I've heard theories about like a lot of technology was inspired by Star Trek. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like even the cell phone. I guess people were inspired by Star Trek.
Yeah, definitely.
It came through.
There was the cartoon version of Men in Black, and they had like this warehouse like with like different technology, and they had like it was listed by decades and whatnot, and like somebody knocked over a box, and they're looking inside like, whoa, not yet, they're not ready for that yet. I'm like, they probably have that. They just probably try to downplay it with a cartoon.
Yeah, they do say a lot of things come through media first to prepare. So, yeah. What do you think? Do you believe in that little?
Oh yeah.
Part?
Yeah,
Okay.
especially like like we jumped in technology like massively in the past like 100 years, even the past 50 years, right?
Period. Yeah.
People used to burn people at the stake for laughing, and say, "Oh, you're a witch. You're dancing. You're laughing. You're a witch." And now all of a sudden we have Bluetooth beanies and Bluetooth everything.
Yeah.
Like, we probably had some help.
Yeah. I think I remember. Shout out to oh man, Kevin Gardner. I think he played he plays in the Renaissance Fair as like a judge, and he was saying like I think like the way you can tell if a witch is a witch back in the day is like can you like guess my weight, and if you're wrong, you're a witch, and if you're right, you're a witch. So, like something along those crazy lines, like
insane stuff where like they like tie a boulder to their leg, like, and if you floated, you were a witch, but if you drowned, you were innocent.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
Catch 22, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, Deez, man, thank you for being on the pod on the Empire, man. Can you please tell everybody who you are and the things that you do for people who may not know who you are, the things you do?
Yeah, my name is Diesel 5001, government name Daniel.
Yeah.
I'm a rapper, singer, producer, recording engineer, DJ. I host events. I've had my podcast before. I've hosted internet radio shows. A little bit of everything. I try to help people out as much as I can. People have been really kind to me, so I like to pay my blessings forward and put a little paint where it ain't, so to speak. And I was that shy kid that never said a word to anybody. I had the lowest self-esteem in the world. So now, like, I'm on stage or on camera, whatever, always, showing out and being expressive and trying to live, like, my inner light to everyone. I want to prove that anybody can do that, and, like, and it's okay to be who you are. First and foremost, love yourself and be who you are. That's the biggest example or model that I want to try to, express to people and get them to realize themselves.
I love that. I like the term "put paint where it ain't." I like that. It's kind of like there's a blank canvas, and it's like what, this could use a little bit of this right here. Use a little bit of this right here.
Yeah, spices the variety of life.
Yeah, like basically like helping lift other people up, right? Being that support anchor and things like that, right?
Yeah.
I love that. It's a great mentality. I think it's very amazing. Needed in this world.
Definitely.
Forever, actually. It's gonna be like. I do believe that there's no way to be successful in this life. There's no such thing, I'm starting to believe, as self-made millionaire or self-made success story. Everyone needed somebody or someone else or a group of people, a group of interactions to get to where they needed to get to. Information, whatever. There isn't just like, hey, I figured it all on my own. No outside influence, no outside help to get anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's never true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could have even just been a stranger saying a kind word to you, you know, because I firmly believe that words from a stranger can save your life. It
Yeah.
could be even like, hey, I really like that shirt. You're like, oh, I feel seen. I was about to jump off a bridge today, but man, thank you. Let me do something else today. That could change your whole timeline,
Yep.
you know?
Just like that. It's crazy. I always think about that. It's like the butterfly effect, right? How things can go either way.
Yeah.
You know, Daniel, Mr. D's. D's. D's what? Anyway. Can you give us all a brief origin story, I guess we can say, of how you grew up, where you grew up, all the way up to the man you are today?
Oh, man. Well, we're going to block out 8 hours, but we'll do like the 10-minute version.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
as
gotcha.
quick as you possibly can.
I was born in Hollywood, California, which I found out later in life that Hollywood is not a city. So most of my life I was like, man, I was born in Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. Like, you mean LA? Like, no, I was born in Hollywood. Like, no, it's a district in LA. I'm like, oh, well, I guess my life's a lie. But anyways,
Okay.
kind of like Hollywood, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, born in Hollywood, California. We lived in Inglewood for a while, then Whittier. Then I came out here to San Bernardino when I was about 7. When my parents broke up, and like most people from LA came out to San Bernardino, it was more affordable. You know, it was a lot of open land, a lot of much cheaper prices than Los Angeles. So like we're kind of like the bastard stepchildren of Los Angeles, and that's how most of us come here. So everyone out here has family in LA or somewhere else, but we kind of trickled down to this area, and we scrounge by to do what we got to do to survive. And I say you never grow up soft, or you never grow up underachieving in San Bernardino, because you learn the hard way about a lot of stuff. So it's a great testing, proving ground for yourself. And I'm part of a mixed family, and my dad's white, my mom's black, hence the light skin.
Okay.
So growing up in a mixed family, we're also Jehovah's Witnesses. And during that time, those were a lot of, I won't say challenges, but it kind of makes you blood in the water. So
Explain.
well, the whole rhetoric of if you're light skinned, you're soft, whatever, right? So like I had to constantly prove myself. People would try to fight me all the time or test me, whatever. Like I learned how to fight really well just because people thought they could prey on me. So you either learn to be the victim, or you learn how to make yourself inaccessible to predators.
Yeah.
Like even I lived on Bell and 13th for a very long time. And just walking from there to my middle school, Arrowview Middle School, I had to go through several gang territories, right? Bloods, Crips, 18th Street, all the LA gangs, all the drug addicts, the child molesters, the devil worshippers, anything you can think of. I had to navigate through all of that just to get to school. And like I remember I joined band in the 7th grade, not because I was like really into playing instruments, but because I can get a saxophone, and a saxophone is a big metal object, and I had a big case to evidence. That was protection for me. Like, wait, I was ducking drive-bys in the 7th grade, not because I'm involved in any of that stuff, but because I'm just a bystander of that area. So that was like my protection. And I learned to play it and whatnot, and kind of got me more into music and whatnot. But it was just we had to do to survive.
Yeah.
And said being a light-skinned, chubby Jehovah's Witness kid, during that time, like people thought that I was soft, so they would always try to test me. And like I didn't want to be a violent person, and I'm not, but I learned how to protect myself, and kind of trickled down into the various other things. But yeah, growing up in this area was a big melting pot, of various nationalities and backgrounds. Like most of my friends growing up they were Mexican. We
Probably a lot of people think you're Mexican, huh?
yeah. Oh, I get Puerto Rican all the time. Yeah.
Okay, Boricua. Like, hey, mijo, ¿qué
Oh,
tal?
yeah. Like I learned a little Spanish. Like yo entiendes, pero no habla. Like
¿No habla nada?
Nah, poquito.
Poquito, okay, sí, okay,
yeah.
está bien.
Yeah.
Entonces,
Like I know enough to order my food.
Got
Talk
you.
to someone, flirt.
Got you.
That's about it.
one burrito, please.
Yeah. Es todo? Yes, we good. No cebollas. Yeah.
¿No cebollas?
Mm-mm.
No te
No me
gusta la
gusta.
cebolla?
Mm-mm.
Okay. ¿Te gusta cilantro?
Sí.
¿Tomate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, sí. Just
Oh.
no se puede.
Adelante, continue.
Yeah. Where was
Melting
that?
pot. Growing up in a melting pot.
Yeah. We see a lot of just various cultures, and it's beautiful. It's variety is the spice of life. So it was very hard for me to be like ever prejudiced. Because I come from a big mixed background and just all the things that I've been around and whatnot. And I always thought that was a beautiful thing. Like I said, I could never date within my race unless I was dating like my sister or something, because there's no other people that specifically had like my multiracial buildup.
Okay.
So I've always loved that, and just be in San Bernardino itself, we had like everybody's poor. You know, if you're poor, you came from, or you came here because it's all you can afford.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it was in the 80s and 90s. So that was always a beautiful thing, and I initially didn't want to be a musician. Like I was going to be a wrestler. That was my big thing as a
Okay.
kid. It was like when I was 13, I was a runt for a while, but I grew up, and blew up. I became a giant overnight, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to be a wrestler, and I idolized that stuff, and like a lot of stuff in the 80s and 90s, we gravitated towards that, because these were alter egos. They were sources of strength. A lot of us didn't have, our dads in the picture,
Yeah.
or we came from broken homes and whatnot. So like our role models were like pop culture figures, the rappers that had a lot of confidence, the superheroes, the anime characters,
Yeah. Yeah.
all that. So we've always had it as like our source of like our scapegoat, so to speak. But they were idols to us as well, So
Yeah.
I wanted to be something like that. I wanted to be a wrestler, and I remember like shadowing day in high school. I went to go check out like the School of Hard Knocks over here on East Street, and I saw what they did. It wasn't really for me. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to end up getting addicted like to painkillers and have back problems at
Okay.
20.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not what I want to do. And like, I've always loved music. It was a big thing for me. I wasn't into like all the gangster rap that was like really apparent during that time. I was
Definitely.
into like R&B and rock and stuff like that. And um, the song that actually got me into hip hop was "Passing Me by the Far Side."
Okay.
Because I could relate to that.
Yeah.
Going through puberty and getting rejected and having a crush on a teacher, stuff like that.
Okay.
Like
Here's
that
an
spoke
apple.
to me. Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that. And then,
Do you remember your teacher's name that you had a crush on?
second grade, Miss Love, Miss Beach in the 7th grade. There's a few of them.
Oh, so it kept going.
Yeah.
Okay, it didn't stop. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's,
Okay.
as you grow older, your tastes, they develop a little more.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but there's some in particular, man, yeah, Miss Beach in the 7th grade. I don't know how old she is now, but I want to hit her up. Just
There
how
it
she's
is.
doing.
Look, he still got her, folks, in his mind. Got you.
Yeah.
Let her go. Let her go, Deez. Let her go.
Just for the memories. We keep
Okay.
the
Okay.
memories of
Got
it,
you.
right?
Got you.
Yeah. I started making parodies of songs too, right? So,
Okay.
like, because I was always a writer. I would, write, comic books and short stories growing up or whatnot. That was always a big passion of mine.
Mm.
And so, believe it or not, Weird Al was like, he was really popular when I was young, and that was a big influence on me. So he would make fun of songs or do his own creative interpretations of songs. And so I would do like the same thing. And it was like, it was kind of hip hop in a way. We do creative interpretations of the things around us. We sample things or do our own versions of it. So I was doing that too. And I remember like my brother, he like saw what I was writing. He's like, why are you trashing the song? Or why are you making fun of it? Why don't you just make your own stuff? And I kind of took it as a personal challenge. And
Okay.
ever since then, I've been combining my love of writing and my love of music and making my own way of doing it and doing stuff that feels good to me. Like if I'm going to talk about something silly or serious, or like 90% of my stuff is about relationships and women, and and like my own accountability of it. And just been doing it from there and there. And remember the age, I was 16, right? So I was writing my rhymes in class, like we all did,
Yeah.
whatever. And my
Yeah.
teacher, I still remember her name, Mrs. Flanoy from Sierra High School. She saw me writing, and she's like, "Hey, what's that?" I'm like, I'm trying to cover it up, like, "Oh, I'm just writing a song." And she's like, "Oh, we have the Black History Month talent show coming up. Why don't you join it?" And like, I'm the shy, reclusive kid. I've never like said a word to people, right?
Yeah. Period.
So I'm like, oh, this is terrifying. But it's one of those like defining moments in life. Like, hey, are you gonna do it, or are you just gonna bury it forever? And so I'm like, okay, well, I had a friend from church, well, Kingdom Halls, where Joe's Witnesses. He made beats, and I had him make me a beat. And I saved all my money up. I had like $50, and I paid him for it, and it was like the wackest beat ever. I'm still mad at him to this day.
Man, you be holding on some grudges there. Okay.
Well, a little bit.
There we go.
Yeah, but
Petty? No.
yeah, Asif, just you owe me $50. That beat was trash. And like the night before, like I can't. I'm gonna get laughed at if I perform what I wrote to this beat. So I remember I got like what's the How High beat from Method Man and Redman.
Okay.
And like I remember how, like I looped it, and I had this really like small trash computer. I only had like 500 megabytes of memory. Like it was a Black Wolf computer. I remember that, and it almost like maxed my computer out. And anyways, I remember making like a 3-minute version of that loop, and I was like, okay, I think I can rhyme to this. And so the next day I go out to this is a talent show like at 10 o'clock in the morning, and like I get up to the mic, and like they announced me coming up, and they're like, who? Like him? The guy that works in the cafeteria? And it was like a pin drop silence, then the beat comes on, and I just explode, and they gave me a standing ovation after that. And I'm like, yo, what? Like, and I felt alive at that point. Like, yo, what I say matters, and like they like it too. And like life changed right after that. Like people noticed me, girls were smiling, people knew my name after that. And it didn't mean I was like the most popular kid ever, but it just opened a new path for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Two things what I love about the story is, number one, your brother changed your path of how you should write and writing for you. And then how I find it so crazy about, we always think about ourselves a certain way inside, but then how people interpret us out on the outside, it can be completely different. And I think that was kind of your experience from that show.
Yeah.
Right. And I think what I was actually having this conversation during my commune with the Most High this morning about because some people say like they have like spiritual encounters and ESP, and I was thinking like maybe everybody has ESP, extrasensory perception. For people who may not know, it's like telekinesis, psychic abilities, whatever. But everyone has it at a different degree, or everyone connects to a different degree, or everyone has their thing to a different degree. So the way I'm connecting this to our story is that like you're able to show people like your ability, your ESP, as you can say.
My frequency.
Yes, you know what I mean? Your power. But Diesel, I wanted to ask you about your name origin, right? Diesel 5001. Is it any relation to Andre 3000? Any inspiration from Andre 3000? And tell me what it is, where it came from.
Okay, so here's a story with my name. For a long time, my name was a Long Shot. Like I was a big X-Men fan. Long Shot from Mojo's World. His story was he was cursed with failure in everything he did, but his mutant ability was he had enhanced luck. So even though he was doomed to fail, he still had a good chance of winning, and he was an odds-on favorite. So like I really connected to that. Like or just maybe my self-image. I didn't think much of myself, but I felt like I had something special in me. So I'm kind of going against the grain, and I made the acronym of it: living on negligent grounds, spending hours overtime training. And the underdog. That was my whole thing. And I ended up becoming a duo with one of my boys in high school. We shout out to Sonny Phoenix. And we were Y factor, like yellow factor, because we were both light skinned.
Okay.
And we were making some headway. We were both like battle rappers, and people respected us, and we were going around and just making a good name for ourselves. And his uncle had an in with Interscope Records, and so with one of our meetings, Long Shot wasn't really transferring well. They're saying that they didn't really like that name.
Interesting.
I guess it wasn't sexy enough or something. I don't know.
Like, what do
So
they know? It's like
yeah, it's me, but
interesting.
we gotta conform sometimes, right? So
Mhm.
I went through like 500 different names, and you know, big wrestling fans. With Diesel, that was my guy.
Powerbomb.
Big Daddy
Mhm.
Cool,
Him and Scott Hall, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, the Outsiders. That was huge influence on me. He was a big guy. He could move. He was
Mhm.
charismatic. I idolized that guy. So like, like most of us, we take names from or embody names or personalities that mean a lot to us. So Diesel was that, but I couldn't just call it like Diesel, so I had to spell it different. So I went through like all these different spellings of it to what it is now: D''ZYL. No other spelling allowed. But yeah, I get the worst spellings. I get Deasley, DYL''Z. I'm like, do you guys see the name at all, or what's going on with that?
Mhm.
And I can't just have Diesel. I was like, okay, let me add some extra to it. But yes, Outkast was a big influence on me as well, and that's when like Andre changed to 3 Stacks, and getting 3,000, and like, okay, well, I can't be 3,000. I can't just outwardly bite them. Like, let me go 5,000. Let me get 5,001, be a little extra, but like I had to make it relevant to me instead of just like my own version of a name. So
Mhm.
Diesel is like also like slang for like powerful, for something like it also means dope. It's just big, it's massive. So like I do a lot of theatrics in my performances. I'm going extra. I perform it in a big way. I'm a big dude and I'm moving. It's like it's a Diesel. It's larger than life.
Mhm.
And a 5,001, I equate that to being like forward thinking about the future. Like, 'cause I believe that everything we do, it's a snapshot of that time in history,
Facts.
and the reflections of society and what we go through and the mood and whatnot. So I want to make music that I think would still be dope and powerful and meaningful in the year 5001.
I love
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
Dope, dope. Yeah, Diesel. Yeah. I want to go back to a couple of things.
Mm.
So is your father like Germanic?
I mean, yeah, he has roots in that. I mean, but he's like he's just a white guy.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Gotcha.
we got a German last name, and
Okay, so you probably are
yeah,
German, yeah.
yeah.
Do you identify more on the black side, or more the white side, or how?
I grew up, like I told you, I grew up black. Like
Okay.
I'm the only light skinned person in my family. Everyone else is dark. I come to a family reunion day and say, "Man, who's that?" Like, "Oh, that's Margaret's boy. She married a white man."
Okay, it's one of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. So I'm the light skinned dude in the family.
Got you, got you.
But
The yellow bone?
yeah,
Got you.
and but like I'm always been viewed as like a lighter person or as a white guy.
Mhm.
Like I get that a lot, and yeah, that's cool. The people may like look at me differently because of that, or prejudge me before they even hear me, or when I say certain things, or they may hear like my black accent. They're like, "Is he trying to act black?" Like, no, you should. My mom's from Watts. Like, I'm black. I was black before you guys were. I've been black for a very long time. So
Yeah.
don't. But like I do embrace like my multicultural roots.
Mhm.
Like, and I'll never shun that. I always tell people I'm incognito. Like I can get information, so use me.
Got you.
You
Got
know,
you. Send them. We need them. We
yeah,
need them. Send them into the. You know, isn't it unfortunate that you have to like prove that you're black?
yeah,
Isn't that like you have to prove your blackness? Isn't that unfortunate?
yeah. It sucks, but like it also comes as an advantage to me at times. Where like it's like sometimes people will say certain stuff around me, and I let them
Mm.
talk. Like, okay, mm-hmm. Or I said, like, people think I'm Puerto Rican, right? So they'll come to me and they'll like start saying some stuff, and I'm like, you think I'm you, huh? Go on. No.
Continue.
Like, do I hablar español? Like, poquito, you know. And then they'll start saying some stuff. I'm like, no, say what you're gonna say. Say what you're gonna say. And maybe.
Mm-hmm. You get some inside information.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's like bring that information back home.
Mm-hmm.
But
I like it.
so like what I used to see as a detriment, I see as an advantage. It's like a camouflage. Like I used to, love wearing my mask. Like height of COVID, because I'm like, okay, I can kind of hide behind this a little bit. I can. I don't have to show facial expressions like I was, doing Uber for a long time, and I could read people's faces. I could, kind of hide my demeanor a little bit. So like, even like with music, like our musical monikers are like an amplified versions of ourselves. So we can kind of like hide a little bit of who we are, behind our personas,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I've always loved that angle of not being so open about everything and being able to, I guess, code switch and keep things either shown on the sleeve or keep it close to the chest
I
at
like
my
that.
discretion.
I like that. It actually reminds me of a chapter I'm working on my new book called Warrior in the Garden,
Hmm.
which is basically reflecting on like knowing whom you can open up your heart to and who you should not open up your heart to.
Yeah.
Right? It's about protecting yourself, and you were raised Jehovah's Witness, right?
Hmm.
Are you still Jehovah's Witness?
No.
Okay. So, because I was going to ask you if you also pass it on to your kids, and so that's a definitely no,
No.
right?
No.
Oh, we
No.
talked about gifts earlier,
Yeah.
and gifts is against Jehovah's Witnesses, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And like I learned a lot from that organization, and it gave me like my moral foundation.
Hmm.
I don't subscribe to it now, but like I have nothing against it. Like my mom, she's been one since the '60s, still to this day. She's in her '70s, and she gets the call from Armageddon. She's on the front line with a sword and shield. That's how deep she is into it, But like that's funny. There's not funny, but there's several artists like even out here in the IE that are former Jehovah's Witnesses. I want to kind of hit them up to like, hey, we need to do an EP. You guys know that, right?
Called what? Former JP?
Call it like the truth or something, right?
Okay.
Because like that's what we called it. Our religion, we call it the truth. So I'm like, Cam Archer. Shout out to Cam Archer. My boy Mix from up in the high desert. GQ producer, and I know there's some more I'm probably forgetting, but like we had Prince, we had Michael Jackson, Exhibit, Crazy Bone. We had a lot of people. George Benson, a lot of people that are former Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yes. I think Michael Jackson was Jehovah's till his death,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be cool to have like or maybe call it like After the Truth, because you guys are no longer Jehovah's
Yeah.
Witnesses, right?
Yeah, and we could sample like those artists that have passed, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Like Prince songs, Michael Jackson, George Benson, all of them.
Yeah, or even create new stuff too as well.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I want 10% of that.
Gotcha,
I'll take 2%. That's
We'll debut it on the show.
Hey, we're with it. We're with it. D's. Hope you don't mind me calling you D's. I just feel comfortable
No,
saying
I
D's. I
don't.
know it's Diesel. I just feel good saying Diesel. I guess Daniel.
As long as it's not Danny, right?
Got you. No, Danny.
Yeah, everyone's like, hey, Danny, like, call me anything but Danny. That's my mom. She's the only one that can say that. Even she's pushing it.
God, even Mama's pushing it. Mama, please.
Like, one, you got 13 more times, Mom.
That part.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are liking the show so far, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. We appreciate all the work and support. Deez, you just came out with a new album called, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's called Higher Self Love Affair. Right? Let's talk about it, man. I enjoyed the album. I thought the first track you came out, like came out the gates, like, right? But I feel like for me, when the album started to like really connect and just kind of just like back to back, and I think the first song, I think it was the unfollow, delete, and block, and then all the songs kind of like after that was just like, wow, just like kind of like back to back just started hitting me. And I really like the unfollow. I was like, okay, I think this is going to be a single. And I really like the rhythm part that goes bun dun 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 da. So yeah, man, talk to me about the album. Talk to us about it.
Thank you, Mom. So that song itself, I tell people that's the perfect explanation of like my style, right? Like I'll take something that's very regular, like, hey, protect your peace, unblock, follow, and delete people or that don't serve you or that are negative influences to you or just negative tethers. But I'm trying to be extra about it. So there's the opera stuff in there and the little Tim Burton melodies like you mentioned, stuff like that. That's the way I love to convey it. Like just stuff that's really normal that's presented in a big way. But yeah, the album came about. I had put it out for a few years, and before that, I had to go through like some changes in life. I was going through a divorce. We're going through co-parenting and just had some health scares and just had to like kind of take stock of what's important in my life and what I need to get rid of, what I need to update and upgrade. What really matters to me and whatnot. And I started learning about my inner child and energy and the frequencies that we deal with, and different things in our diet, not only physical but mental as
Mm-hmm.
well. And so, my like a lot of my music transformed, into how can I convey this stuff to people. Like I've already had all my catalog prior to that. It was just all important, and I love it. It's a big part of my life. But just going forward, um, I wanna help people. I want to reciprocate the blessings that have been shown to me. I want to be open and transparent about what goes on in my life, and just the subtle things in life that may not matter to, or we think may not matter to people, but when we speak about it, we find we're more close and human than we think.
Yeah, yeah,
Like we can't relate to like the super tough, rich, baller, gangster dude, whatever, but we can relate to getting our heart broken. We can relate to like, dang, how did I mess this up? How did I talk myself out of a good situation? Um, how is stuff from my childhood affecting me as an adult? How am I passing that stuff on to my children? Am I acting a certain way because of certain traumas that I haven't visited and dealt with and whatnot, or maybe dealing like with our shadow self and things like that.
yeah. Do you, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this album is kind of like there's the this is the transition album. Basically, there's Diesel before this album, and there's going to be the Diesel after this album.
Yeah,
Is that making sense?
yeah, yeah,
Like your sound and like
yeah,
your perspective.
yeah. Like I had a trilogy of albums I released about 3 years ago, called Love Hurts, but it's like hurts like frequencies, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like going through all the like my journey of love and life, and seeing where it takes me, and just dealing with various depths of that. And during that time, I was post marriage. I hadn't been single since the MySpace days. I'm going through dating again, and
Mm-hmm.
going through all those relationships and adventures or whatever. Lots of failures, lots of successes, and they're all successes, right? There's no L. You learn those are
Yeah,
lessons,
yeah.
right? And
How
you know,
different was it, the dating market from your experience?
like I remember when I was married, I thought my biggest nightmare was to be single again, and
Okay.
like you know, it came true. Yeah, I lived that nightmare. So I learned a lot. I mean, of course, when you get married, you plan to like spend the rest of your life with somebody, right?
Yeah.
We had a home, we had children, dog, all that stuff, and things unfortunately didn't pan out.
Gotcha. You had the whole American
Yeah,
dream.
yeah, like I
Okay.
was gonna retire. I was done. I had made my retirement album, which I still never put out to this day.
You retired from music.
Yeah, I was done. That's because all I wanted was the family. I grew up from a long line of broken homes, so
Mm.
I had my album is called Married with Children. Play on the show, but
Yeah, yeah.
that was my retirement, trophy album. Some of my best music I ever put out. I loved it. I still feel like I don't want to put it out because I don't want to feel like I'm closing that chapter. I want to keep that chapter kind of close to keep me sharp, keep me fresh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I have no bad blood with my ex-wife. Like we get along fine for the kids. And that's all that matters.
Well, definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
I was listening to someone earlier, and they were saying like a lot of people don't think about when it comes to like divorce about the kids, how it affects the kids.
yeah,
Usually, people are just thinking about how it affects them, the parents, or I won't get it too specific, but
yeah,
the person who's initiating divorce, they're usually just thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about how it's going to impact the kids
yeah,
in the long run. So I think that's interesting. But I want to go back to the album,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
How did the title come about?
So within that journey, there's 4 stages of learning, right? Like there's nothing, then there's shallow understanding, then there's confusion, then there's like complete understanding. So during that time with those albums, I think I was in the confusion stage, and so I was delving into things and people and mindsets that weren't necessarily healthy for me, and I was losing myself a lot. So this album would be number 4, the complete understanding, where like I had to take accountability for who I was and situations and relationships in my life that just weren't good for me, and allowing myself to maintain these relationships and these mindsets and these habits that were just detrimental to me, but like they were so embedded into my psyche and my routine and part of life that I became comfortable with them, and I could feel myself like dying, so to
Mm.
speak. So this album was like me like hijacking myself, and like, hey, you know what? I need to make some tough decisions and do what's best for me. I do some spring cleaning in my life and cut the cord of stuff and people that don't matter to me, business partners, relationships, not being accountable for actions that I may be doing as well. And so like the whole theme of the album is just me kind of taking stock of what's important in my life and what I need to do to go forward. And so I don't get stuck in a rut and wither away.
Yeah, so it's very introspective, the understanding that happened. The full understanding is all introspective and bettering yourself, right?
Yeah.
You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you mention that Eugene O'Neill produced some of the beats on this track?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Talk to me about collaborating with Eugene on this and stuff like that.
Yeah, shout out to Eugene. That's my guy. We've done a lot of work together over the years, and he's just an incredible artist, rapper, producer, singer. I remember initially I hit him up because he's done features for me before.
Okay.
I think prior to that we've done like one like production together, but he's always been a hook man for me. He helped me out with that. He has a beautiful singing voice, and he's great with his melodies. And this album, I wanted to sample some stuff, right? I wanted to like do some songs that were like important to me, and I knew he could flip those things. Like the track 2, "Love Me No Longer," it's a sample of the Cardigans, "Love Fool," and like I always loved that song. I thought it would be kind of fresh if like we flipped that like in a hip hop sense, right? And it's beyond my ability to do it, but I hit him up and like, hey, just whatever you do with it, that's what I'm gonna work with. So don't take my influence of what I feel it should sound like. Just you give me what your creative interpretation is of it, and I'll make it fit to whatever I want to convey. And he sent it back to me, and it blew me out the water. I'm like, damn, dude. And I remember sending him another tracker. Hey, there's a song I heard recently. I know it's an old song, but it was on The Last of Us.
Okay.
The song's Linda Ronstadt, a long, long time. And like I relate to that song a lot because I was going through like something similar with that same subject matter. And I was like, hey man, you remember that song from The Last of Us that came out? I was like, yeah. Can you flip that? Yeah. Okay. And he sent it back. Bam, that became the song The Lesson. On
The Lesson. Yeah, that was a really good one. Yeah, it's really good. It's towards the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the song after that, Let You Go, was also the artist, so it's a rock band. I'm trying to remember the name. The name, Passion Pit, Take a Walk. I'm up here like, if Who Sampled is listening right now, just don't worry about that.
That part.
Yeah. And same thing, tell, hey, take what you get from it and flip it, and I'm gonna work with it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, those 3 songs, like, 'cause when you're sending me the beats, getting them back, the person that I was dealing with, like, heard those beats, whatever. She's asking me, hey, what are you gonna do with these songs? And like in my mind, I'm thinking like, I'm probably gonna write about you.
Okay.
Later on, we're not talking anymore. Those songs were about her.
Literally, fruition, right?
Yeah.
You already knew. From the beginning. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna put these towards this.
Yeah, like
I was gonna say this creature.
I kind of want to email them to her, like, hey, just so you know, you inspired some of my favorite songs.
Yeah. Hey, you were my muse.
Thank you.
You were my muse. Thank you for inspiring me.
Here's like 5% writing credit to you. No hard feelings.
There you go. Here's a Twinkie. You'll last forever. You haven't made any visuals yet, right? Like music videos for any of these yet, have you?
No. I kind of want to gauge and see what people are feeling the most on there before I do that.
Gotcha. What's the audience been saying so far?
A lot of them, they love the song with Sonny Babel, of course.
Okay.
And that's my nephew. That's my guy.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about that some more too. Unfollow, delete, block. That's a favorite.
I feel like I think you already know you should make one for that one. You don't think you need to wait. You should just jump right into the water for that one, man.
Yeah. Like I want to go extra with it. I want to get go opera, get the horns on the hat.
Why not? Why not? You have an idea of who you would want to film it? Shoot.
Good question. I'm not the biggest fan of like doing like straight up like music videos. Like big part of me has to be silly, or has to be 100%. A creative interpretation of it too. Like I don't want to look cool rapping at the camera. It's like I'm not that guy, So I'd rather do something that's funny or follows some type of story, or if I'm not even rapping or performing the video, even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's me. That's just a childhood insecurity of not wanting to be on camera or whatever.
Yeah, we're with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. But, I want to control the narrative. So The homie Infinite, TGM,
Okay.
Shooter Lux, my homie GQ. There's a few of them out there. I wish Art Bars was still doing videos because he did great videos. If you're hearing this, come back.
Yeah. May get him out the woodwork or something.
Yeah. And who's ever willing to work and help create the vision, like I could spend money wherever, but like I don't want to just spend money for a name. I want, hey, work with me. Let's
do it.
Yeah.
Make like a ludicrous type of video type of thing,
Exactly.
Oh, I love that, man. I love that.
Perform it for the first time at the album release show, so that should be fun.
Gotcha, which is coming up soon, right?
Yeah, the 10th, tomorrow.
Yeah, mañana.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the video won't be out by then, but congratulations on the album release,
Thank you.
man. Tomorrow's Friday, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you've been having a nice, good amount of like appearances on shows, and now man, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I also wanted to say another track that I really enjoyed was, I think it's called "I'm Dope," something like that, and I was like, hey, Tanjint's getting down on this one right here,
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Tanjint, you guys are in a group together called Fam Likely.
Sure.
How did that happen? Tell us about it, man. Well, how did the name come about? How did all this happen?
So shout out to Tanjint. That's my guy. Like I always say, he's one of the best people on the planet. And like, if anyone ever messes with him, I'm gonna hurt you.
Got you.
Like if he needs a kidney,
choke him. Like just grab him and choke him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm emotionally too.
Okay.
But yeah, like if he need a kidney, he can have one of mine.
Okay,
that's
that.
my dude. Like,
okay.
Yeah. He's just a sweet, kind man. He's just a good, no filter person. That's who he is. Like when he gets excited about an idea, you can see it in his facial expressions. Like he honestly, he'll vibe with it. Like, and I respect that in people. Like he's who he is on his sleeve. And we've always had like similar interests. We're both big nerds into comic books and various nerd culture, pop stuff, and we've worked together on some songs before, and we've always meshed well. Like it's always been a good chemistry. And so we talked about, hey, we should probably do a project together because like I like you, well I like you too. Well, let's work. And we made a song. What was it? Prove My Love, and it was beautiful. Well, okay, let's make another one. Came out even better. Let's make another one. Came out even better. Like let's make a duo. Let's go over some names, and like people love what we do individually. They love us as performers and musicians. They would get a kick out of it if we did a project together.
Yeah.
And so far, like people have shown us so much love. Like even our solo stuff, like we get booked everywhere. Like where it's a festival, a sesh, a venue, a club, anywhere. We've been able to do what we do in every single setting. And by all means, like, we do mainly love songs, right? We're like a hip hop Hall & Oates,
Okay.
Or,
I like
any
that.
other
Who's
famous
Hall?
duo. He's a better singer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Tanjint, at least he didn't lie about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what's up. Yeah. But yeah, just any of the big duos where that's what we like want to try to embody and whatnot. We have such great chemistry, and people love us both on the individual level, but together they've shown us a lot of love. And so we gotta go where the vibe is, right? And we still have our solo stuff and our own separate endeavors, but together it's something special. And we do love songs that, by all means, if we weren't good at what we did, they would sound kind of corny, some of the ideas that we put out and some of the melodies, but we're really good rappers. Like he's a Project Blowed battle champion, and I'm one of the lyricists out here that people they put a lot of stock behind, whatever. So like we can rap, and we can sing. So our ability to do that, yeah, we can perform, and so all that together is a good recipe for making the high level quality of music that we put out. And so even though like we could go into a room like full of just rugged underground heads or gangsters, and we're up there doing love songs, and they go wild to it, and we're like, whoa, that's special. Like let's do more of that.
And the name
Fam Likely. Tanjint came up with that actually. We were looking at names, and you got like the Spam Likely on like your phone.
Okay.
Or newer phones would be like, Spam Likely. So we want like it to pop up, but like it's Fam Likely. Like we want to be a familiar household name. So like whenever you see us, you're like, hey, those are my best friends up there. Those are my brothers, my uncles. Those are the people that are the teachers we have crushes on or whatever. We want to be the people that you feel familiar with us, and because we're really approachable, we're really nice people. Like to a fault, we're just really nice guys.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking that makes a lot of sense now. Now we know. And I was thinking people would probably think that we're likely family because we kind of look the same,
Yeah, we see that too.
right? You know, I guess another good name would be like biracial babies.
Yeah,
Nah, that'd be terrible. Dude.
yeah. We'll have to, we'll workshop it a little bit.
No, just let it go. We're not going to touch that one because I know I think Tanjint's also
Yeah, he's half Mexican, half white.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are great guys, man. It's so
Thank
cool
you.
how that came about. Sometimes, and you guys probably knew each other a lot longer before that endeavor even happened, right?
Yeah, we knew each other. We met like in 2014, I think, something like that.
Okay.
And yeah, we just similar circuits, and we we're both from San Bernardino, but like we see each other at shows in L.A. or San Diego or wherever else, and we had a lot of like intertwining, networking and the circles,
Yeah.
and just we always had a fondness of each other. I hook him up with a show, he hooked me up with a show. Hey, I got the song and album, I really love you on, and vice versa. And we melded, and it was just natural. We were always gonna end up doing a project and duo together.
That's how it should be. That's how it should be.
Kindred spirits.
Yeah, and that's how it should be, man. I'm gonna shift a little bit from music. I believe I saw you mention that you auditioned for like a modeling thing at one point in time, right? Back in the day, like for like a heavier set model. It's true. Like
I was asked to be part of a big and sexy photo shoot.
okay.
Yeah.
How was that experience, and are you open to continuing to doing photo shoots?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to be so shy and not want to be on camera or have any self-esteem, but like there's something for everybody, right? So like
Yeah.
I'm a big dude. I never shy away from it. Even if I lose weight, I'm gonna be a giant person.
Hmm.
But like as I got older, I realized, hey, people are attracted to that. It's okay to be who you are. It's okay to wear your nerd shirts. It's
Yeah.
okay to, dress however you dress or whatever your preference is. It's okay to be who you are. So like when someone hit me up to be part of a shout out to Lou Productions for inviting me to that. Always got love for her. She's an amazing person. When they asked me to be part of it, I'm like, okay. And just did a bunch of glamour shots of me and a bunch of other big dudes and larger women. We came in, came and conquered, and like it felt great. And while we were there's like this couch, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm gonna
Like a casting couch?
well, yeah, so to speak.
Okay.
It was just in the studio. It was this nice looking couch, and so I got on it and I laid down, did the Lionel Richie pose,
Okay.
and they took a really nice picture of that. Shout out to Nice Bingsley for the picture, and that was like my cover for my R&B album for the Luke Beige project.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, cool. And like, I also took that same photo and I made posters of it and I put happy holidays on it and I send it out every Christmas to friends and other people.
I love it.
Yeah.
By the way, folks, his name is not Luke. Just to make sure. It's his alter ego, right?
Yeah. You're Luke Beige, like Luke Cage, but
I was gonna
Beige,
say related to Luke Cage from Mortal Kombat, right? Is that Mortal Kombat? Luke
Marvel.
Cage? Marvel?
Yeah.
Okay. Who
Power Man.
Who am I thinking about from Mortal Kombat?
Jax?
No, Luke. Isn't there someone? Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage, there we go.
Gotcha. Luke Cage is from Marvel. That's the
Yeah.
one who can take all the bullets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Indestructible Skin, Power Man, Iron Fist.
Yeah. I always thought that was such a racist type of. They're like, yeah, we made a black man that could take bullets. It's like, okay.
That's the only superpower we can get?
Yeah, I was like, that's it. Like, I was like, okay.
Not super smart or anything, just indestructible.
Okay, cool.
Our fear is our strength. Like that's it.
Okay, awesome, sweet. I believe you mentioned that you lost a lot of weight, right?
Mhm.
Right. So, what made you decide to go on a healthy journey and start losing weight and stuff like that?
Well, I want to live for one.
Okay.
We are our best product, right? So if like I'm my product, how can I sell that to people if my product is faulty, right? Or like, hey, you can be this, but this is going to like lead down to a path to where you die. So how can I put that example out there if I'm not taking care of myself, right? And I have kids too. Like, my daughter's 10, my son is 7. I don't want to die, pass out from an asthma attack running around with them. So um, I want to I want to die an old man. I don't want to die tomorrow, and was it in 2021, I had a health scare. I was working hard, eating, drinking stuff that I shouldn't be consuming. And, I had type 2 diabetes at the time. And I remember one day I had about 3 energy drinks. Not a good idea.
In one day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And, my heart almost exploded.
What does that feel like?
I woke up in a cold sweat and I couldn't relax. I was shaking. And I remember my buddy, my roommate, Dilemma, shout out, that's my brother. So, hey man, can you call the paramedics? I think I'm dying right now. And I remember he called them and they came, said, oh, you're just, said I was overreacting or something like that. Or like, no, you're just nervous about whatever. Are you going through stuff in life? Like, no, I'm not. Like, I don't feel well. I can feel my blood pressure going crazy. I can't sit still. And anyways, they took off, they left. And I remember like I tried to fall back asleep. I woke up again and it's like, no, this is bad. Like things are blurry. I don't know what's happening. And I called the paramedics again. He sat there with me and he like did a guided meditation with me to kind of calm me as much as he could. And they came and
What does that look like? Sorry, the guided meditation.
I don't know, just visualizing like a place of peace. Said let's pay attention to the sounds. He's like talking like there's like wind coming through, and I'm remembering most of it verbatim because a lot of it is just kind of a snapshot. And whatever he did, it kept me calm and kept my blood pressure and my heart rate down enough for when the paramedics got there. I remember I instantly collapsed onto the bed, and they put something in my arm. I forgot what it was, but I remember like looking up to the paramedic and like, hey, am I gonna die? And he's like, I remember to this day like he was Captain America. He's like, not on my watch, buddy. I'm like, okay, cool, bet. And if you're ever about to die and you go into the hospital, make sure that you are wearing the most, flattering thing possible. So just always, be comfortable. But, I had like these Marvel superhero pajamas on.
Got you. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, if you're about to die, make sure if your clothes aren't comfortable, change.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'm not doing well. I should put on a shirt that's fresh.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah. So you may be in the hospital for a few days,
Okay.
with the prettiest nurses you've ever seen in your life, So I remember like my priority was like told somebody to grab my tablet so I didn't finish so I didn't miss like the season finale of like WandaVision or something, right? Like I can't miss, bring my tablet and charger. Priorities, right? And
So you're in your Marvel pants, you're saying?
yeah,
Okay.
and I remember getting to the hospital and they're telling me that my heart rate was like 4 or 5 times what it should have been. My blood sugar was like 500 or probably even more than that. And I was this close to like dying, And I remember while I was in the hospital, for some reason I sat up and like I meditated, right? Just like they call it like the dark night of the soul or something like that. When you have those epiphanies, right? And I remember just getting up and meditating. It's like my levels had come down. I was clear headed, and I sat up and I meditated, and I believe I met my guardian angel at that point. I remember the doorway, walking through the doorway, and I saw like this hooded figure, but they didn't have a face or anything or any. But I could tell it was a human figure with like a cloak over it. And it talked to me like in my voice. Now I'm thinking maybe because I'm the only person I listen to or whatever it may be, but I remember it's my voice. It said, hey, you gotta stop whatever you're doing. When this happened, I saved you. When this happened, I saved you. It was specific moments in my life I clearly remember. That was on me. I was like, I'm not gonna save you anymore. Now love yourself so you can love them better. And then I woke up. And like I'll never forget that. Like I don't know if it was a spiritual experience or it was psychological or whatever it may be, but that happened. you know. It's just that moment, like I've been trying to take better care of myself, you know.
Oh man, boy, that's beautiful. In my opinion, Diesel, Daniel, I think, and I think you can agree. I think it was a spiritual moment, right? Because it's for me, I believe spirituality and the spiritual moments and experiences are beyond our senses and beyond our understanding.
Mhm.
And like you said, you when after that experience, like you're like, this is real. Like you can't like
Yeah,
this is real.
yeah,
Even though I came back to what we call reality, what this realm is called reality, and what I believe those interactions are, they're warnings
hmm
and they're guidings at the same time.
yeah,
And I think that's the beauty um, of free will that we have as human beings. It's like, hey, here it is. It's your choice whether to follow it or not. And obviously, you decided to follow that guide. Did you decide to follow it more so because you're a father now and you wanted to be there for your kids? Or did you follow it more so like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should listen to this because I do want to continue on.
a little both, you know. Column A, column B.
Column A, column B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, you know, we tend to get comfortable. We're creatures of habit for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just as society, as humans, and we get caught up in our day-to-day routines, you know. And so sometimes those day-to-day routines may not be the most beneficial to you or the most positive and healthy for you,
Yes, sir.
you know. So sometimes you may need, like, I call them hand to God moments, where someone comes in like, hey, no, my son, no. Or like you may say to a friend like, hey, bro, you're messing up. Like, what are you doing?
Facts.
You know. And so that's what it is, you know. And uh, as far as it being like spiritual, like I know, I mean, there's people that don't believe in that. There's people that do. I like to look at the term supernatural, like as like break down the word, right? Supernatural. Like this is an everyday thing. This is, or it may be very normal, just like rain is supernatural, right? It doesn't happen every single day, but like when it does, we have rain coming from the sky falling down on us. That's a supernatural thing, right? So when we have experiences like that, it may not be our day to day rhetoric, but it happens, and maybe happens when it's needed. Like rain is a result. That experience I had may have been a result of things going on in my life that led to that caused that intervention to happen. You know.
Yeah, and I also like to two things. Um, I would say if you're gonna call rain supernatural, I would call that experience more of a phenomenon
There we go.
because of the rarity of it happening
Yeah.
in occurrence. And I'm also starting to believe that when human beings, us as human beings, are closer to our self expiring, we're more open and exposed to what I'm going to call the spiritual realm,
Yeah.
right? Because we're closer to it, so now we're more open to receiving its messages. Remember, I was talking about ESP earlier and
Mhm.
about us being blocked from messages being
Yeah.
controlled to our level. So, um, I not to go against what you were saying about that, but I kind of that's kind of how I view it. Is just like these messages coming in, and now you're listening. And again, I think the best thing about it was that we have the freedom to choose: do I want to follow this thing
Mhm.
or not?
Yeah.
Right? I'm glad you followed it,
Thank you. Thank you.
and I guess and continuing to follow it.
Yeah. I try my best. You know,
Yeah,
we're human, but
of course, of
yeah.
course. And I'm assuming you probably haven't had an experience like that since.
No, no. Thankfully, knock on wood.
I mean,
We'll have it. You know?
the experience of that shadowy figure coming
Yeah.
to you. You haven't experienced
Yeah.
that. You think it was a bad thing when it came to you?
No, I mean,
Okay.
like, I don't want to like get to a near death
Well, I'm
experience
saying
again.
not to like
You know,
just the figure to come just to show up again.
yeah, like 'cause that's like I said, that's a result. That's a boiling point. You know, so I hope I don't get to that point. I hope it's for better things. Like, hey, my man, choose this right. If you here's some information for you, do
Got
it
you.
or what you want. But this could lead to great things that you can help people with. Like
Got you.
I would welcome experiences like that. You know, not where I'm in a hospital bed about to die. You know.
Got you. And I was just referring to the shadowy figure. Like, let's say you were chilling right here, right now, and
Mm,
it showed up in your vision, type of
mm,
thing, right? Not like you have to go through that terrible experience. But I guess you're looking for that insider information, like, hey, D's
yeah.
my boy, put 500
Mm,
on Tesla. we going to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're looking for.
And go ahead and get the party going.
There we go. Right, boom. We gonna get this place turned up.
Yeah.
You know, as an MC, I'm gonna call you an MC, right? Do you freestyle? Can you freestyle? Is that part of your repertoire?
Yeah. I grew up doing it. I have a love-hate thing with it, right?
Okay.
So I grew up doing it, and like with most of us, like we talked about things that we spoke our confidence to existence, right? So we would say, I'm this, I'm that, blah blah blah. And so like I don't really like to, because I feel like I will say like vulgar or violent things just on some MC shit, or stuff,
I know.
So I don't like just like, so whenever like I rhyme for people, I like to like, hey, here's my favorite verse. Can I show you my favorite verse instead? Because I really don't want to talk about some violent, vulgar stuff, because that's in my makeup, my build to do that, and I felt I've got past like a certain level to where there's a level of personal growth for myself where I don't like to do that as much. I'll still do it. Like you clearly hear on the album, I'm talking my my stuff on there.
Yes.
And whatnot. So I mean, like, yeah, but I'll do it every now and then. But like, I would rather show people like my favorite verse of me.
I got you. I got you.
Point,
Maybe that vulgarity is maybe something that just needs to come out, so that way you can like clear up the space to add the other stuff that you want to be in there.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a point in time for it. I grew up listening to all that. The freestyle fellowships, the lyricism lounges, the wake up show,
classic.
Even the ghetto blaster. I was at 88.3 KUCR, I think.
Yeah,
and all that. I grew up listening to all that stuff. So I like it. It's like for my personal taste, like I'm in a lifelong cipher participant. I've always been that. That's where I got a lot of my reputation from it.
Got you.
Just like it's. I feel like when I like a freestyle, I'm also like kind of rambling a little bit, and that's not to say like, hey, if you put me on the spot, I'm gonna shy away from it. No, like I'll rhyme, but like if given the choice, I would rather like show somebody like what my favorite verse is. 'Cause like I got kids that watch my stuff too,
Of course.
So you want to hear daddy talking about the most vile shock value battle bars you can hear, like, hey, my daughter may post about this. She got a YouTube channel now.
That part, and maybe they'll understand later as they grow older. But the reason why I asked Diesel is because we like to put our MCs to test, or show that our MCs really are MCs here, that so they can freestyle and show that they can freestyle. And so I wanted to ask you, if I kick a beat for you, would you be down to share your freestyle skills, even if it's vulgar or not?
Yeah, we'll see, right?
Are you down?
Yeah. That I'd rather show you one of my favorite verses, but I'll do it to your beat.
Are you down?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, freestyle session commence.
You like ice cream? Get your banana split. You got a hot temper. They can't handle it. There'll be candles lit when they mourn you. Fan mad at your crew, they should have warned you. See, I'm a light-skinned boy with a short fuse. I'll tie you to a lamppost and I'll beat you with a horseshoe. Make your courts blue. They can have that. I leave the scene walking tall like an ad. Yeah, I'm an asshole. And I told you twice, I'm cold as ice, so precise when I roll the dice. Now close your eyes when I throw them right, cause no device can hold my mind. You know I'll wreck a home like a poltergeist. Cause I'm mad and black, I'm just a cliche. I'll throw you on the wrong side of the freeway. Oh, I just might do it the mean way. Crocodile Steve you and murk you with a stingray.
Thank you, Deez. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Tear up your home like a poster, guys. That's what we're talking about. Off the top of the dome, that's what we're talking about.
Can I do a more positive one? Like, can I do a verse, a positive? I just want to put it out there because I want my daughter to hear it. So.
Of course. Go for it. You don't even need my beat, huh? You can just do it. Go ahead.
I see the worst of you, the best of you. The words been eating at you. I want what's left of you. I know you want to be everybody's everything. Just save enough for yourself and give me the rest of you. Don't worry about what I expect of you. Show me your bad side. Give me your better view. I see them sad eyes. I self-neglecting you. Call me your bad guy, but I want to see a better you. And you don't have to be anything other than you are. So understand you are a wonderland, a star. You're something grand by forward. Touch your class and scars. Or underhand, you spark. I want you as you are. You look amazing when you're made up. But I prefer you without makeup. Your whole makeup is made up of greatness. Society has your brainwashed, and I hate this.
Yeah.
That's what I prefer to say nowadays.
Of course.
But there's still the other part of me that's always going to be there.
I like to say that, we're a whole being.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not, we have this of us, we have that of us, right? I was actually having this conversation with my cousin yesterday, and I was like, you know, Kanye has his Kanye music, right? Well, Kanye music, that doesn't make no sense. But Kanye has his music that I guess we could call secular music, like the Dropout album, Donda, whatever. Then he also has his Jesus is King album, right? Like he's a whole person. Like he's got his secular and sacred music. Like we're a whole people. Like we have both things, right?
So it's funny that you bring up Kanye, right?
Okay.
I also am a Gemini. That's
Okay.
Kanye. I used to tell people like, "I have a devil, angel on my shoulder." I got different versions of Kanye on my shoulder.
Okay.
Because it's all who you are. Like I said, you have your surface level self, your car salesman version, then you have your shadow self, right? And like things I've learned with shadow work is that you don't necessarily have a bad side of you. You just have that side of you, and you got to understand it. Like sometimes you need that side of you when you gotta, even in your Bible, Jesus flipping the tables and cracking whips when people are in the temple selling stuff, right?
Yeah.
You have that side of you. Sometimes you need to bring it out. Sometimes you need to know when to put the tiger in the cage.
Mm-hmm.
So like there's balance there, and like it's all part of you. So you should never like really be ashamed of it. But like there's a time and place for everything. So you gotta learn how to differentiate when to bring those things out and when to keep them under wraps.
Yeah, it's kind of like it reminds me of Gambit for some reason, knowing which card to use at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, man. Thanks for sharing that verse.
Thank you.
For some reason, your style and your voice, so a little bit of your style, but, I'm starting to hear a lot more of your verses and your words. But it reminds me of a gentleman who was part of a group called Rhyme Sayers. His name is Brother Ali.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of Brother Ali? Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah. Okay. You've heard it before.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the tone, your tone of your voice, and a little bit of your cadence kind of reminds me of Brother Ali, of Rhyme Sayers. And for people who may not know, let's talk a little bit about shadow work. For people who may not know what that is, can you tell us a little bit about what's your understanding of what shadow work is and working on shadow work?
The way it was explained to me is recognizing things that you may feel are like bad about you and learning how to embrace it. Like there was a saying, shout out to Lucy Lampy, she told me, "What I resist in you exists in me." So what you may not like in another person or what you may like judge them for, it's really like parts of yourself that you're not comfortable with or that you wouldn't wish on yourself for whatever reason, maybe your upbringing or your preferences or whatever. And so the same like the way you see those things in a person that may see negative, you're just not dealing with that. I always say if you talk down about somebody to make yourself seem better, that's the weakest sauce ever, right? Like I'll never respect that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the same token, you could be like saying what's bad about yourself, right? But like, are you trying to make your strengths appear better than your weaknesses? Like your weaknesses exist for a reason.
Yeah.
Those are results, same as your strengths. They exist for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to figure out what that thing is that fuels both. Like what wolf is being fed.
Okay.
And just
Got you.
being okay with all of it. So you mean I have a bad day? Like, no, you have a day that may need some extra care. And you may need to do certain things, have a self-care day to combat things that you're not comfortable with. Or you can realize, hey, this is just who I am in this moment. And I need to separate myself from this environment or this conversation just so I could, be my best self, because I don't feel like I'm giving you guys the best representation if I go there. And what going there means,
I love that. When for some reason when you mentioned like my weaknesses, it makes me think about businesses. Like people usually you hire people in your business to their strengths are the places that you're weak in, right? So that way they can take care of those aspects. And then it made me also think about the dating aspect, right? Or marriage. Are you like you want to be with someone who can help fill those voids that can help make your life easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you open to marrying again, like getting married again and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see couples that have been together for 60, 70 years, and it's the most beautiful thing ever, right?
Do you think that's still possible in this era?
Well, yeah. Well, me, I'm years old, so
If
I mean,
we're years old.
yeah. So I mean, I get to 60 or 70 years with somebody, but I
Okay.
mean, hopefully, we'll see. We'll have
Diesel is
robot
scared
parts.
of his age. He thinks he's like old, man. This is crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, I am what I am. I never shy away from that. So it's just funny to talk about.
Okay.
But no, I believe it's possible. I think the generations prior to ours, their unions, their marriage unions were based off of like survival and kind of like a business pact,
Mhm.
kind of unspoken. Like I remember asking my grandma, like, "Hey, what made you fall in love for grandpa or this and that?" Like, well, he got me out of my home. She didn't like where she was at. She was in a bad environment, and he
Mm.
pretty much rescued her from that, and they got married. And grandpa, he wasn't a good person. He was abusive, just a bad dude, right?
On what side of the family?
My mom's side.
Okay.
Oh, on my father's side too. Like my grandfathers weren't good men.
Okay.
You know, so I come from that long line of that, and all that trickle down.
Got
That's
you.
a, that's a whole different
And
episode.
I guess the definition is like what is good, and there's always three sides to the story,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So like my own parents, like I can't judge what was going on in their life because I didn't live their life. I didn't have the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then considering from my own divorce, I'm like, okay, I kind of understand some things. I don't necessarily condone it, but I don't, um, you know, I don't shun them for it. Like I wasn't in there. I wasn't in their shoes. So I don't judge them for what they went through.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with mine. I got somehow explain that to my kids one day. Just stuff that they need to know. But you know, I don't know if everyone. I don't say it's not there's the same values, but they don't have the same limitations nowadays, right? So you're more open. You don't have to just marry like your high school sweetheart or somebody in your town. You can meet somebody via Facebook that lives in Japan. That's your soulmate now. And you may grow up differently than that person. And it may just be 10 years. I want to be married to this person for 10 years and this person for 10 years. Or you find this person that clicks with you, and you guys have a perfect partnership, and you die old together, you know? And I think all of that's beautiful, those experiences in life. Just having the freedom to be able to do that. Like you're not going to marry somebody because they're going to be a potential breadwinner or protector for you. You want to marry them because you really vibe with that person, and like they really complete you. Like I always say, like a perfect relationship is like when KFC and Taco Bell first started getting together, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can still order from the full menu on both sides. They didn't take away from each other. They just, hey, here's the best of what I have. Here's the best of what I have together for you.
Yeah,
And I believe that's a good model to use for your life partner, right?
I got you. And if you want to, you could put fried chicken in a burrito.
Amen. Those are the kids.
There it is. And this makes me think about, you mentioned being a father several times so
Mm.
far in our conversation, right? So like, what's fatherhood mean to you, and what are some of the things that you want to instill into your daughter, of course, because I think it's important, very important for fathers to be involved in guiding their daughters, especially in this era. And then also like, guiding the son, right? To
Yeah.
what's the saying, fathers help keep girls off of poles and sons out of jails.
Mm.
So like what's fatherhood mean to you, and what's some of the lessons that you pass on to your children?
Uh, Fatherhood is the greatest gift that I could ever have been blessed with, right? Just coming from a long line of broken homes, having a family was everything to me. You said, man, my home was unfortunately, I won't say broken, but like it's different now. With going through a divorce and all that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I remember when my daughter was born, just my firstborn. Um, she wasn't breathing for like a good few seconds, or it seemed like an hour, but it was like maybe like 5-10 seconds. And she was like almost purple, and I remember like just praying, like I was like, look, whatever I have in my life, give it to her. If I die today so she can live, please, please, please take that and give it to her. And I knew at that moment my life was not completely mine anymore. It's most of it, if not all of it, if I could, is going into them. It is for them, and when she opened her eyes and looked at me, it changed me. It changed me from a boy to a man, and like it was just. I remember my best friend, rest in peace. He told me that you'll never fall in love like the way you will when you see your daughter for the first time. and it's special like to men because like I remember another friend was also telling me before my daughter was here, it's like if you have a kid and it's your daughter, you're gonna soften up. Like just the way you hold a cup is gonna be differently. Like you're gonna say cute more than you ever did in your life. You're gonna shop for little dresses or whatever she's into. Like it's going to change you. It's gonna soften you, but in a good way. They say daughters are your karma, right?
Mm.
So if you were bad to people, your daughter's gonna give you a lot of trouble, right? But if you're decent, your daughter's gonna be a huge blessing for you. And that's how I was. I always thought I was a decent person, So luckily, my daughter's an angel. So my son too. But it's been beautiful. I've painted a lot of nails. I've had a lot of tea parties. Anything that she's into, I'm a fan. Like I would dance battle with them on Just Dance, and I wasn't really like a friend with or friends with my parents. And even though I'm an authority figure to my kids, I don't want them to know that what they do matters. I'll spend every moment I can with them. Um, it's just a beautiful thing. Sorry, I was in my head. I was going to nostalgic things and beautiful moments is all
That's
passing by.
good. That's
But,
the reason we're here.
but yeah, and I just wanted to know it's okay to be who you are. If nothing is too silly, nothing is too this, too that. Like as long as you are not hurting anybody and you're doing what you love, I'm always going to support it.
Are there any lessons that you teach your daughter and your son, and are there different lessons that you give to each of them?
I just want to be kind to people. The way you want to be treated, treat people the same way, and don't do it because it can come back to you. Don't treat them a certain way just because you want to be treated that way, but do it because it's a good thing. You know, talk to that kid that, maybe by themselves they don't have any friends. Tell somebody they have a nice shirt. You know, if someone's hungry, you break your sandwich in half, give that to them. Look out for them. I told them I am the result of a lot of kind gestures and blessings. So you guys would not be here if people weren't kind to me. So I would like you guys to do the same thing to others. Like it's really easy to be mean to people. It's really easy to be a piece of dirt. It takes effort to be kind, to be a good person on this planet. It takes so much energy to hate somebody, right? Like because none of it makes sense. You may
Yeah.
not like what somebody does, or you may not be comfortable with their upbringing and preferences, but that doesn't give you a reason to hate them because that's not going to do good to anybody. That we have so many wars since the dawn of time just because of differences when really those differences make us all beautiful.
Yeah. I love that. Dang, I had a train of thought that just totally went by. Yes. Um, it reminded me of two things. The first thing was how we talked about earlier, like how just one kind word
Hmm.
can change someone's day, right?
Yeah.
Someone could have been ready to jump off a cliff, but then that kind word can really change someone's day just like that. So
Yeah.
that's positive. But it also the thing that you said about earlier about um, praying, I guess more or less like, hey, like take me if I have to go right now. It also connected me to the thing about when that hooded figure said, "I saved you during this, this, and this." Do you remember some of those things that it said? The specific things that it saved you from?
He went through a list. I had a lot of growing up in San Bernardino. I had a lot of near
Gotcha.
death
Can you
experiences.
share one or two with us?
One was one of those drive-bys in the seventh grade. So there's several of them. Going to Arrowview Middle School.
Hmm.
You know, just it may not even be people you're hanging out with. You just may be walking down the street with some people that may have beef with somebody, and they load off in that. Mention that time. Mention a time where the ex-girlfriend was wanted to kill me. She was stalking me. I remember one was like walking into traffic or something, and
You were walking in traffic, like
or no, I was about to get hit by a car. So
okay,
like those moments when like you may have forgotten your keys or your phone or this or that, and just those 3 seconds could have made all the difference in the world.
hmm
I remember driving down like Highland, passing Del Rosa, or about to pass Del Rosa. For some reason, I was slowing down, right, and this car was going by like seems like 80 miles per hour, just ran the light, and if I whatever caused me to like delay my path, if that didn't happen, that car would have hit me. I wouldn't have been here. And it mentioned that time. I'm like, this dude's been keeping
Yeah.
track of everything.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is some real stuff.
I'm like, okay, like, huh? Like, I imagine my guardian angel, like, at that point, he was like, there's like that meme with the dude in the car with the cigarette, just stressed out, working overtime, you know?
Got you. He's like, bro,
Like, yeah.
like, I didn't take a vacation.
Yeah, it's like, you be working shifts, right?
There's only one of me.
Yeah, I had to call in help. Like, bro, get it together.
Got
know?
you. They're calling my cousin Leroy
Yeah.
to help you. Such an amazing story. I remember you saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that you said you're annoyingly positive. Can you explain that term and what that means?
Well,
If that's a real, if I made that up,
no,
or if that's okay.
yeah, because people talk about it all the time.
Okay.
Or like I bang positivity on people, right? Like if I hear somebody talking poorly about themselves, I believe those words like they can create your reality, right? So I'll
100%.
tell them like, hey, stop talking like that, or I'll just walk up and hug them, right? Like don't say that. Instead, well, or I'm trying to do this, or I want to do this. No. Change that to I'm going to do this. You can create that and that reality that you want, that goal, and you just catch up to it. But if you're already thinking it, you already created it in your mind. Then and in some timeline, some reality that already happened. So, speak it to existence, but speak positive things into existence because you can also speak negative things into existence as well. And yeah, just being annoyingly positive. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes, like they say, the class clown is the dude with the worst home life, right? So, like I've had my struggles in life, and there's been tons of them, but I always want to, not be a product of that. Like I don't want to be bad to people because bad things have happened to me. I feel that's an easy cop out. And one of my biggest influence to that would be my grandmothers, right? My grandma on my mom's side, she's just like, no matter who you were, she was always cool with you, right? She always made you feel at home. She's just a good person, and she had been through some of the worst things in life. She had been through abuse, she had been through legal troubles. And when my mom told me stuff, I'm like, who, Gran? Like, no, she's an angel. What are you talking about? She wasn't a thug. What are you doing? What are you saying? But yeah, just no matter who you were, she treats you like family. And my other grandma on my dad's side, I never have seen her without a smile. Even on her deathbed, she had smiles, right? And I remember the last thing she wrote to us was like, remember me with smiles because that's how I'm going to remember all of you. So between the one that I've never seen her ailments and the other person, which was my other grandmother, who was also cracking jokes on her deathbed, making us laugh on her deathbed. Those are like my biggest influences in life. And those are like the characteristics of my personality that I want to give to people. So if they remember me, you remember like the influences of my grandmothers. And I forgot where I was going with that.
Annoyingly positive.
There we go. Yeah. So it may seem like I'm extra about thinking positive, but I know the power of what that can do to you. It could change your life. It could save your life. It could be the
100%.
people around you that see that positive imagery or that positive personality that then they pass on to other generations and other generations. Like, hey, look, we're dealing with a lot of strenuous stuff in our lives and in this world in general, but we could be cool about it. We're all here, man. We're all human. We're all trying to navigate through this how
Yeah.
we do. Like, let's try to enjoy ourselves and smell the flowers in the meantime.
Yes, 100%. And I like that because there's a saying in the Bible which is like a man is what he thinketh.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you think you are, whatever you think that your experience is, it is. So definitely a positive outlook on everything is, I think on our level that we're thinking about it, is necessary. It's crucial because why do I want to think and live in a negative mindset when I can think and be in a positive mindset,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to affect me better and affect those around me better,
Yeah.
right? And I also believe that you're also a big component about mental health, right?
Yeah.
How did that journey come about and wanting to speak more about that?
Well, just like from being a man, right? Like they say that a lot of us are born and raised like with toxic masculinity, whatever, right? Like I don't really like that term because like
The terrible term.
yeah, because we learn how to be certain ways to survive, right? Especially in this society, especially as minorities, we have to have a level of strength that we can pull from and sometimes adhere to, just so we can navigate through this world and and be a part of society and like be a paradigm of strength and virtue for our families and whatnot. So we got to understand that. But a lot of it, a lot of the same upbringings, it taught us like to turn our emotions off and not be human and not deal with that stuff and not speak about things that are affecting us and our vulnerabilities. Like being vulnerable doesn't mean that you're weak. It just means that you're secure with your truth. You're open with that. You're knowledgeable. You own it. And like we're all human. We all have cried. We all go to sleep every night, right? Like we're not Supermen.
Yeah.
So like bearing a lot of stuff and not learning how to deal with these emotions and not learning how to deal with the just complexities of life can really become quote unquote toxic to you. Like it can make you physically ill. Stress can give you like high blood pressure. It can give you heart attacks. And really just talking about stuff that bothers you and acknowledging it and dealing with it, just getting off your chest, like it makes you feel great. It feels like a huge weight is off your shoulders, and that's why I feel a lot of delving into mental health is knowing what your status is and where you sit and learning how to deal with that and be comfortable with it. Like you may not be the ideal version of yourself or what society thinks you should be, but just knowing that who you are is perfectly okay is everything. And that the knowledge of self is everything, and you got to know where your paint is, where you belong on the canvas, or where you could be on the canvas.
Facts. And it reminds me of I guess going back to the thing I was saying about the title of my other book called Warrior in the Garden, which is I think you can't be vulnerable with everybody.
Yeah,
There's only specific people that you can be vulnerable with. And I think, in my opinion, I think for men, I think it's best for men to be vulnerable with other men that they trust,
yeah,
because it just seems to work out a lot better,
yeah.
you
There's
know.
a lot of con men out there too, con women, con people.
Yes, con artists, right?
Yeah,
Definitely. And Deez, I want to play a game with you. I want to know if you want to play a quick game with us.
sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a word,
Hmm.
and I want you to say the quickest thing that comes to your mind when I give you this word.
Okay.
All
It's
right?
like a verbal Rorschach test.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever the quickest thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready? Yes, sir?
Let's do it.
All right. Quick slip. Here we go. Fire,
Ice,
sky,
ground,
satellite,
receiver,
Drake,
light skin,
tampons,
dam,
growth,
awareness,
healing,
understanding.
passion.
I kind of want to match it with passion. Like there's various forms of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fall,
Stand,
gratitude,
attitude,
toenails,
results,
ashy,
Larry,
baby girl,
Angel,
Ashley,
Ashley,
anthem,
trumpets,
San Bernardino,
home,
family,
choice,
home.
heart.
Thank you, man. Quick slip.
Thank you.
Not too bad, right?
Can I see the test results when you're done?
Yes, definitely. Everyone is scheduled differently. Everyone gets
Yeah.
different results.
And analyze that however you need to. Like, I'm
Yeah,
curious.
we're gonna. It's looking a little shadowy. That's all I gotta say. So I wanted to kind of get back on the music side. As you notice, we go places here. We don't just go and hopefully be enjoying your time.
Yeah, definitely.
Hope you guys, ladies and gentlemen, have enjoying your time. Please like, subscribe, comment down below what you think and what you've learned here. When it comes to music, what's your thoughts on major versus indie, and would you ever sign to a major if the opportunity came up to you?
I think it's a matter of like growth, right? Or how you want to control your thing. Like you want to be a franchise, or do you want to have a mom and pop shop, right? Mom and pop shops ideally have the best food, but they're gonna have the most locations. And we're in a beautiful day and age where, like, look, I can write a song about a smartwatch, right? Everyone has a smartwatch. I can write this in my room, in my boxers, record it, and upload it to the universe that same day. Without having to sell anything, without having to pay anybody any money, don't have to make a video, don't have to do any of that. I can record that from my room with free software and send it out to the world and be on the same playing field that everyone else is. That's power right there. I don't have to worry about making it cute. I don't have to make a radio edit of it. It may not even have to be mixed properly, but I can put it out there. That's beautiful. Now, the same token, I don't want to hear 40,000 versions of that. Like, if I want to see a movie, I'm going to the movie, like, don't show me stuff that I can see in everyday life. Like, put a dragon on the screen, right? So that's
Okay.
So when I see a major motion picture, I want to see major motion picture, quality and presentation.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I'm in the mood for like, some reality TV or some, a YouTube review of something.
Got you. Or a good indie film.
Yeah, a good indie film, or like it's all dialogue because they can't afford special effects or fight scenes, whatever. Like, but they can talk. Like the conversation we're having now, this could be an indie film, and that may be what people are in the mood for. So I mean, I think there's room for both of it. It just depends on what you're in the mood for. And thankfully, we live in a world where technology is so prevalent that we have that choice to find either or.
Yeah, it makes me think of when you say like basically anyone could go in their room and upload it. Do you think in that case, in that situation, that it's oversaturated and possibly not with people of like skills?
Yeah. I get that too. It's like, I mean, it's still like a personal irk for me. Like when I think of a kid that just has too much money, or their parents,
Speak on it.
buy them
Speak
all
on
that
it.
stuff, and that's probably just like so that's a shadow part of me I'm dealing with, right? Because I didn't have that stuff growing up. I had hand me down stuff from my brother, or like I had to have my jobs to fund all my stuff. So I'm like I had to work and struggle and this and that for it. So maybe that resentment is based off of that, but at the same time, like, if my daughter needs anything, I'm gonna do whatever to make it happen for her. It's like, so do I reserve that same judgment for her? Aren't we supposed to make things easier for our kids? We want to teach them the lessons, but do we have to necessarily pass down the struggles to them too? Or should they just learn from our struggles? So that's why I feel like when I see anybody doing it, but at the same time, the therapeutic power of music and being able to create, even if like it sucks, and that's subjective to everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even if it's not that great, it's still something they like to do, and nobody can take that from you, right? Just because I don't like it doesn't mean you have to like it less. Like I think root beer is nasty, right? But some people, that's their favorite soda.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop drinking it due to my personal preferences, but I'm still gonna think it's nasty. But by all means, do you?
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, so that's how I feel with music. Like, hey, that may not be my personal taste, but if that means the world to you, if that's great for you, then by all means, do what you got to do. I would like to be able to filter things a little bit more, but who's to say? I mean, I think labels just kind of like, or categories put like things in places where they're easier to find. And sometimes it's hard to sift through it, but I think that's the beauty of it, right? Like you go to a record shop or a thrift store, you may find some gems in there, you may find somebody's trash, but that trash to you could be someone else's treasure, So it's the same with music. I think that it's dope that the creative aspects of it are more like in control or being controlled by the creators. Like you don't need to have this label. You don't have to go through all these hoops just to put your creative endeavors out. You can do it yourself with a little research and a little time, a little practice. You can do that yourself. Even like putting books out, right? You can sign up through Amazon and you can put your own books out. You can self-publish. That's beautiful.
Yes.
You don't have to worry if someone thinks it's good enough. If you think it's good enough, if what you have is good enough and is digestible to other people, then by all means, put it out.
Yeah.
You may die tomorrow. Put that shit out,
Yeah. Speaking of books, check out 10 Things Your Parents Should Have Taught You But Didn't.
And War in the Garden coming up soon.
Links will be in the bio, ladies and gentlemen. It also makes me realize that I feel like going back to like, oversaturation and why some artists are getting more recognition than other artists, even though skill levels might be completely different and abilities. I'm learning that marketing really plays a big role in people's success. What's your thoughts on that? What do you think?
It's learning how to take those ingredients and learn how to make magic with them, right? Because like especially like say with social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a thing with Instagram, like if you post a picture and a certain amount of people don't see it in under 10 minutes, it kind of falls to the bottom of the queue. But if a certain amount of people see it, then it shows it to like 90% of your followers. And certain hashtags will make it visible. So it becomes a game of not is your stuff good enough or people are sleeping on you or not. Like, no, it's you got to find the right combination, the right ingredients in this spell to broadcast it out properly. Even on Facebook, if you tag people and they don't interact with your post, it falls to the bottom of the queue. If you share a link from outside sources, that's not Facebook, falls to the bottom of the queue. So marketing is finding out the recipe of having to navigate through these different mediums and learning how to respect the strength of these mediums to do it. Like you're not going to post a bunch of like words on Instagram. It's going to be a picture with a quote at the bottom or this and that with a few hashtags that work.
Yeah.
And different mediums, you got to figure out what works. So it's just advertising.
Yeah, definitely. The algorithm. And it's interesting that you mentioned like the advertising because I was thinking about this today. Is like, McDonald's, everyone knows McDonald's, but McDonald's, I believe, still posts about, I think, 5 to 7 ads a day.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if McDonald's is still doing it and they're this level, then as an artist, a business, you should definitely be posting at least a minimum of 1 or 2.
Exactly.
Right?
I feel like you want to work your way up to, I call it the Oreo
Let's
model,
talk about it.
right? Like, when's the last time you seen a commercial for Oreos?
I think I saw one recently.
But like not as much as McDonald's, right?
Yeah, not even close.
But if Oreo dropped a new cookie today, you go to the store, you're gonna pick it up. Not because like they're bashing it into your head like this is the greatest cookie ever, but Oreo is a great cookie and they have quality. And if they put something out, it's probably gonna be fire. So when you become that household name where you don't even have to drop a single, you can just put a whole album out and they're gonna get it because they know for a fact that you give them quality. And that's beautiful right there. You don't have to do all the song and dance, so to speak. You could just create and put out.
Yeah.
You
have to make that that relationship and that establishment within that family, I guess.
Definitely.
First.
And until you can do that, put out those McDonald's posts.
Yes. Yes. 2 to 3. Hey, that goes for everybody. I wanted to talk about. So would you choose a major or indie if you had the choice to choose one?
It probably depends on the project.
Okay.
I like being able to like drop an EP because I feel a certain way. Like I've been binge watching Dawson's Creek recently, right?
I know. What's up with that? What's been up with that, bro?
Well, I never finished it when it first came out. I watched like the first 2 seasons and I just stopped watching and never went back to revisit it, right? So you know what? I want to go back to that chapter in my life and I want to finish this out.
Okay.
And
has it been emotional?
Yeah. Like I look at things differently than when I was a kid. Like when I was watching it when it came out, I used to like sympathize with Dawson a lot and thought he was just the victim, the poor tragic nice guy, whatever. But rewatching it as an adult, especially with someone who's been married, who has kids, who's been through tons of relationships, I'm like, he was kind of an idiot. He talked himself out of a lot of situations and he kind of gaslit Joey a lot too, and just everybody. He always felt he was superior to him, and maybe I saw like negative parts of myself from that age in him. I'm just cringing watching the show, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's been a beautiful thing. And who knows, like I probably may put out like a Dawson's Creek themed EP one of these days called I Don't Want to Wait, trademark.
Boom.
And I love being able to do that as an indie without having to go through all those loops and, all the red tape, whatever. I can just put it out as a mixtape or an EP on Bandcamp. I can record it in my room, in my boxers, and send it out to the world. Mm-hmm. And that's beautiful to me. Like I remember, like my brother for some reason was a big ICP fan. I don't know why, but like
Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah,
okay.
Like, I don't know. He's like the only black juggalo, right?
Okay.
But they would always put out like EPs of like stuff, like random stuff, and you have to go to some obscure place to find that CD or order it online or in the mail or whatever. And like even though I didn't like their music, I always thought that was dope. That they could just put stuff out because they didn't have any bosses. They were their bosses.
Yes.
And they could, put stuff out however they wanted it to. They didn't have to censor it or anything. They put it out as raw and as unfiltered and just as straightforward as they can put it. Like, and I like creating like that. So if the situation was right, I do a major.
Okay,
Yeah, I'd like to have some backing and not have to do everything myself. But
got
like I
you,
love being indie right now.
got you. I guess the best would be like the collaboration of both worlds, right? Being able to do
Yeah,
whatever you want, but then have the funding
yeah.
to do it. I like that. I wanted to get into your relationship with Personal.
Hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Also, Imagine, I think his name is,
Hmm.
and your event space that you guys got going called Dapper Up Entertainment. Am I saying all that correctly?
Yeah.
Talk to me about it. Why did you guys decide to do it? Your relationship with these gentlemen, and yeah, all of it. Talk to us
Yeah,
about it.
I met Personal at Pomona Loud. Shout out to Irene. It was just like during like the height of COVID when like you couldn't like or places were shut down, understandably and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But people as artists, we need to like get out and create. So we'd be out in a big open space where they have open mic out in Pomona. And we're all masked up, keeping our distance. We bring our own mics and whatnot. Just be in a big open space where we can keep our distance and still get to perform our craft. And I remember I met him. There's like some Instagram like group chat, whatever, right? And where you want to get people together, like-minded people, like, and I get that because I've done that tons of times myself. And I remember I think I did a song and he came up and introduced himself, and I was like, oh, this guy's very professional person, very well mannered, whatnot. This guy's sincere about what he does. He has that look of passion in his eyes, like where he cares about other people and wants to
Mm-hmm.
network and build. And like I saw a bit of myself in that, so I was like, okay, yeah, let's collaborate on some stuff. Let's keep building and whatnot. And then I started doing some shows in Fullerton with a former business partner, and it was still kind of like guerrilla and underground because we weren't allowed to do stuff at some places. So it was like a storage space in Fullerton where we were throwing shows, and I learned how to DJ and engineer for shows a while back.
Got
So
you.
like I brought my equipment. I was the DJ for the night, and like okay, I can't do everything. I had the homie that he had the space. I can run the sound and you know, book people because I had a great relationship with people in various scenes.
Mm,
And so I can do that, but like we needed a face for it. So like I hit him up like, hey man, do you want to come and be our host? You got a young, pretty chiseled face. You're great with people, and it'd be a great experience for you to
mm,
to build your brand and meet a lot of people. And he came and he was a natural. He was great at it. He's very presentable. He's very polite, and it's not like an angle for him. That's who he is.
mm-hmm.
He's a great dude. That's my little brother. He listens to everything. Sometimes to a T too much, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's a great student of the game, and like I don't believe he's just a great soul as it is. And so we ended our relationship with the person that had the space. Just that's a long story in itself.
Yeah.
But we've always kept in contact. We've always collaborated on stuff. Talk about life or just on some friendship level, but also like
Yeah.
music stuff, giving each other advice, feedback on our songs, whatever. But we've always talked about putting together some shows again because we built a lot of relationships and we built a space for people to come to and do their thing. And
Mm,
we did that when there wasn't anything for anybody. So we missed doing that. And I've been throwing shows for many, many, many years. So I'll take breaks at times, but like I'll always come back to it. But like I wanted to do it with a team that, a well run unit because I can't have a sloppy production. I want to make sure that everything is run perfectly.
mm-hmm.
But I really appreciate being given the opportunity for people to come out and perform their stuff. They don't have to go through any politics with me. Like, hey, if I like you, you're going to be on the show. In fact, you're only on the show because I like you in some way or another. Like, I like what you do. Even if I
Gotcha.
don't like your music, I may like your spirit. I may like your drive, your hustle. And if you want to perform your craft and I can provide that in some way or form or fashion, I'm going to do that for you because people did that for me when they didn't have to. And we got to create it ourselves. Like no big person from the industry is going to come out here and throw shows for local artists. We got to be that. We got to step up, be the big brothers, the big sisters. We got to be those pillars, and we got to provide it. We got to give them really dope podcasts like this. Like
Mm.
no one else is going to come and do that for us. We got to be the people that say, "Hey, this is who we are, and this is what we did in this time." But we're going to control the story. We're going to control the narrative and give that to you. So imagine. I know him as an artist, and he's also was a big promoter for shows.
Okay.
A lot of it in Orange County, a lot of it in Pasadena. He hooked me up with like some festivals, like the Make Music Pasadena Festival. I opened for a lot of artists through him, and he was always a solid, just professional, intelligent, just well mannered person, just in general, solid performer. So he knows like various parts of the game, from being a producer of
Mm,
events to being a performer in events, and he's just very structured. That's how I
okay.
put it. Like whenever we would
We
talk
need
to venues,
structure. We need
yeah,
structure.
yeah, we need somebody that can say, "Hey, look, you guys got that going on, but have you thought about this?" Or like, "Hey, I noticed this going on. We should probably address that." Like I've always respected him for him being so professional and like I said, and structured about things.
Mm,
So me and him had talked about putting together shows and whatnot. So between the three of us, I'm like, hey, we've already talked about this amongst ourselves. Why don't we like together? The three of us could put together something really nice. We have all the equipment we need. We have all the manpower we need. We know every aspect of the game in this realm. So I think with just this foundation here, we could have something dope and we can build and hire out as it grows and whatnot. But we got a pretty good foundation right here. So we looked around different venues and I performed at this place, Fuego in
mm-hmm.
Pomona. And me and Tanjint, we did a show as Fam Like there. And I thought the place was just beautiful, right? That nice elevated stage, they had lights. There's a balcony that you can use interviews up there or whatnot. There's a dressing room, clean restrooms, which is not common in music venues,
Yeah. You said clean restrooms.
Man, because like sometimes I gotta hold it wait to the way
That
up,
part, yeah.
Yeah, it had a really cool atmosphere of it, and like it looks professional because it is professional.
Hmm.
So like, hey, this could be the spot that we do it. Like it's a little intimidating walking in there. Like, oh, place is nice. Okay, we say a lot of bad words, but
Hmm.
there's still a forum for everything, right?
Yes.
So we talked to the owners, and like they're super cool and like, hey, look, this is what we want and we expect. And we're like, okay, cool, this is what we want, this is what we expect, so we're looking at it. And they pretty much gave us the keys to the kingdom. They're like, hey, do what you guys want, and let's help grow our businesses together. For people they want to come in through shows, they need an album release party, they need a special event, whatever, come talk to us and we can get you a night at the spot. Like we don't want to gatekeep and this is our venue. Like, no, we need more places to go to. We need a variety.
Hmm.
Like so let's spread the wealth. I remember I used to love going to shows and there'd be like a show here at the Common Ground or at the Rehab for Hip Hop or Back to the Grind in
Yeah, back
Riverside,
to the grind.
various record shops. I know I can go out on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night and there'd be 5 different shows going on. And I can
Mm,
chop it up with these people, go over here, hear this artist, come back, catch this artist. And like I COVID like shut down a lot of that. So
hmm.
being able to be in a position to where we can add some more variety is beautiful to me. That way, you may not be able to drive that far. Your car may not be able to make it to a certain spot, or you may not feel comfortable coming from LA to Redlands, but you can stop in Pomona. And same with people in Redlands, like they don't want to drive to LA, but they can stop in Pomona.
Yeah. It's like
You
the
know,
halfway mark.
yeah.
Yeah. How did the
So,
name come about?
um, it started off like we were looking at like versions of our name, right? So,
Okay.
like DAP was like the core of it. It was the Diesel and Personal.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
it's like yeah, but so like hey, we don't want to like make it just about us, but we can keep ourselves in the name. Like a lot of our rap names, like Daniel Diesel, kind of
Hmm.
that repetition in there. So like okay, well, we want to show people that we want to like teach them at the same time, right? Like we'll have a lot of people that have been performing for the first time that pre-COVID they may have been children. They may have not known this world that we're so used to and may take for granted.
Okay.
So like we want to show you, hey, you can come to a spot and it's not going to be your local dive bar. Still shout out to the dive bars 'cause I spend a lot of time in these places
Yeah.
performing. But here's a venue. You can come and do your thing and you can feel like you're a celebrity. You can feel like, hey, what I did in my room, I can present to an audience that I may not have been used to, and I can have some great pictures, some great sounds, some great clips for you for Instagram and Snapchat and
Yeah.
TikTok, and you feel good about that. So we're like, we want to show them, hey, sometimes sometimes maybe you don't come to the show in gym shorts and a tank top. Maybe you want to dress up a little bit. Maybe you want to dapper up. Wear a button up,
Yeah, you want to dapper up a little bit, fam?
Yeah. Like, present yourself the way that you want to be shown to the world.
Yes, sir.
Dress for the job you want.
Yes, sir.
So we're like, hey, guys, we tell them ahead of time, this is the venue, this is what it looks like, this is what we're providing to you. Make the best of it, because this is just like you're random. You're not rapping in the park. You're coming to a venue.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look good, sound good, rehearse, show up early, get to know the place, learn to sound, practice if you can.
Gotcha. You basically kind of give them like the blueprint and the guidance.
Yeah,
this isn't your backyard.
Yeah, like don't come here on some bullshit. Don't bring your own beer.
Yeah.
Don't do that stuff. No. Come here, be an adult.
Because and I bet the people who take that lesson for granted when they come, they probably regret it.
Oh
yeah, they regret it.
Yeah, like, oh damn, I didn't shave today. I probably should have shaved. Like,
yeah. Probably should have practiced.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should have did a mic check.
Exactly.
Hey.
Maybe you should have cleaned those shoes a little bit.
That part. We all got to learn our lessons somehow.
Yep.
Diesel, I want to thank you so much for being on the Empire, man. You used to have a show called The Flowers. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right? Yeah. Your boys. Am I doing okay?
You're doing great. Okay, brought it back. Mm-hmm.
What was it about? Is it coming back? Why'd you start it? Talk to us.
So that started 2020, mid 2020. A good friend of mine had passed due to COVID.
Want to give it a name?
Yeah, CeeLo. It was Curtis Granado, CeeLo. And that was my guy. I took it really, really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And a few years prior to that, I had lost my best friend. And just a lot of people in my life I've lost. And just in particular, just like I was at a snapping point, right? Like I'm still I didn't go to the funeral. I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have enough strength to go to another friend's funeral. It really like hit me really, really hard. And I remember on a whim, I got up, I jumped in my car, and I drove to the Grand Canyon. Who does that, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I found a hotel cheap and went to the Grand Canyon.
What is it about the Grand Canyon you think?
It's one of those things like we all know about it, but you don't experience it, right?
That was your first time?
Yeah, I had never been. So I'm like, I was losing my mind. Like, and I got up and I drove, and I remember stories and pictures of the Grand Canyon don't do it justice. It's gorgeous. And I remember I went out there and I sat at the cliff, and I'm definitely afraid of heights. And I sat at the cliff. I think I initially faced it all, then I turned backwards in my chair, and I remember put some guided meditation on YouTube about grief, right? And I don't remember it word for word, but it was more about like, being grateful for what you have, right? Things that are here. And I remember like reading this book about grief after my divorce. It was like, don't be upset that things are gone. Be grateful that you successfully had those experiences that you miss, because you got a chance to actually have them, whether they're friendships, relationships, or just, cool moments in life or whatever, right? And so I was like, what can I do to like help convey to people that like I care about them, that what they do in whatever version of they are in my life, that it means something to me, because I may not be able to talk to them again because tomorrow isn't promised.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that same friend invited me to a barbecue for his birthday. I declined, COVID was going around. I wanted to be safe. And next thing you know, he was dead, and I still have like, feelings about like, would I have gone? Would I have been in the same shoes? Or did I choose correctly? Or who knows? Who knows what could happen in life, right?
What was supposed to happen was supposed to happen.
Yeah. But I remember there were things that I wish I could have, said, just out of gratitude or just a normal everyday friendship. So I believe like when you talk to people, if they mean something to you, let them know. I don't like shaking people's hands. I like hugging people, and it's not the safest nowadays, but still, like letting people know they matter to me. So I thought, well, what can I do with my audience, with my, I don't like to call it fan base, my supporters, what can I do let these people know they matter. So like, IG Live was a thing that we all used at the time because it's all we could do to communicate with people and convene because we couldn't really go anywhere. So I started hitting up people that I've met in life that matter to me, and I wanted to give them episodes of giving them their flowers while they're still here and tell them like why I think they're dope, or why they've mattered to me, and maybe give them a platform to speak to people about what they do if they're not familiar with them, and tell them about their craft, or just have a real cool conversation like we're doing now, And I did a bunch of episodes of that, and just just life sometimes changes up your schedule,
Yeah.
and you gotta do it. But I think it's like about maybe 60, 70 episodes of it up, and my only point with that was to just tell those people, hey, I care about you.
I love you.
I like what you do. Yeah, I love you. You mean something to me.
Hmm.
Even people I may have had differences with in the past, like we've talked it out on there, and like we've let them know, like you matter to me. Like, hey, what you do is dope, and if no one else in the world believes that, just know I do.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? Hopefully I can remember my other thought. Please, God, don't let me forget. But the differences, right? I remember a person that I went to community college with. I thought this cat hated me, man. Like I felt like we just had like the like just like tension. Like we just could never like link. Now this guy's like one of my closest friends,
Yeah.
which I just find so interesting how life and God and the universe works. I wanted to ask, is it CeeLo that
Mhm.
passed? Is this the same friend that mentioned about once you have a daughter, or is this a different friend?
Oh, who was that told me that? That was Cornbreeze. Shout out to DJ Cornbreeze.
Okay.
That's my guy. But him too. His oldest is a daughter, and um, a lot of my friends like their firstborn is a daughter, right? So
Okay.
it was always cool seeing like their relationships with them, right? Or like that's their princess. Like they'll burn the world for them if they need to.
Hmm.
I feel the same way with my daughter. So like I learned a lot about raising my kids from my friends that have had kids. You know.
Yeah. Do you think, going back to the
Mhm.
flowers, um, is it coming back, or you think that was just a chapter in your life that just needed to be done, and that chapter is kind of closed?
Um, I don't know. That's a good question. I've always thought about doing it or just taking those episodes like and putting them on like Spotify or whatever, just to have an archive of them.
Hmm.
I may do it in a different forum, a different medium. Like I may do it like a podcast instead of like IG Live.
Hmm.
But I just got to find the time for it. I got a lot of stuff going on, so it wouldn't be as frequent because I was doing it like every Tuesday. And it was
Gotcha.
like a Tuesday when I had time, or I didn't have the kids with me, or I was free from work. And like Tuesdays at 7, that was like the time that I had allocated for that. So I got to find the right time for it if I'm gonna keep it on schedule, or just do it once every few months and bring it back. But I don't know if I'd be able to do it as consistently as I used to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that show came out of a result. It was a boiling point. Luckily it was a positive result.
Hmm.
I could have lost my mind and been drinking and doing stuff that, would have been good for anybody. But instead, like, what, let me take this moment, excuse me. Maybe it was, like when I met my guardian angel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that was a nudge. We're like, hey, tomorrow isn't promised. What can you do to help people feel they're not alone or
Yeah.
feel that they matter?
Yeah. Again, this goes back to the viewpoint about being positive, right? And alchemy, I guess they call it alchemy, which is turning like something negative into something positive,
Yeah.
So shout out to you for that, man.
Thank you.
You know, Daniel, what is something, you shared a lot with us today, about family, growing up, biracial family, et cetera, et cetera. But what's something that most people, even close friends, don't know about you? It could be anything. We know that you like Marvel, and we know that you're wrestling. We know about that. So what's something that even maybe close friends don't even know about you? Could be
That's
anything.
hard because I'm like very transparent and open. They may know I was Dawson's Creek fan now,
Hmm.
like huge. Um, a lot of my loves and passions I do publicly. I love wrestling. I'm a big karaoke fan. I call myself the king of karaoke. I'll shut it down anywhere I go. I love doing it. It helps me get over stage fright. Um, I'm very open and liberal about things. there's not much about me that people don't know. Maybe except the listeners that may not be familiar with me, but I'm an open book, so it's kind of hard for me to like kind of narrow that down. I'm thinking like, what is secretive about me?
Yeah, it could be anything like,
Like
I like fruit punch, or, it could,
I like clam chowder. I mean, people think that's disgusting.
the red or the white.
The white.
Got you.
Yeah. I type 82 words per minute.
Okay.
Probably faster now, or I'm all thumbs now, so that might be slower. I really can't think of much.
Yeah. That one
know?
seems to get everybody a lot. That question seems to get people a lot for
Yeah.
some reason.
Because like I try to be. I would like to do a musical one day.
There we go.
Yeah, that's a
Got
dream
you.
of mine. That's a
Be
bucket
a
list
part of
item.
one, or write one, or both.
Maybe all of it, but
Okay.
but for the most part, I like to perform in one. I
Okay.
think that would be fun.
Got you. Do you have any favorite musicals at the moment?
Not that I could think of.
Okay. Have you seen any musicals?
Oof, that's a good question. I've seen like movies, like Les Miserables, or am I saying it
La
right?
Miserable.
Yeah, that word.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen musical episodes of like TV shows that I like and whatnot.
Okay.
And I've always like thought opera was dope. Just like I love the tones of it because they say like the most like simple stuff, but they say like with a heavy dialect, and they over pronounce it and over perform
Yes.
it to make it sound grander than what it is. And I've always like loved that because I'm just extra as it is. That's part of like my namesake and part of like my whole thing. I love being extra, so I think it would be fun to learn a dance number and sing a song on stage.
Got you. I have a homework for you. For opera, I want you to watch The Magic Flute by Mozart. And for a musical, I would like you to watch, what's coming to mind right now is Cats by Andrew Lloyd Webber, or Phantom of the Opera. I'd like you to watch those two. And I can send that to you later too, to remind you.
Definitely.
For
You know what would be fun to do? I would love to do like a musical like in a like patois, right?
Okay, the patois?
Yeah.
Okay.
I recently saw I was watching Tubi. Shout out Tubi. Tubi is great, by the way. If people don't know, Tubi is great. There's a lot of great movies on there.
Okay.
But it's one of the only streaming services that has Shatas, which is it's a coming of age like Jamaican gangster movie, right?
Okay.
And like the funny thing is, when I first saw it many years ago, like they're speaking in patois, but patois is English, but it's spoken like in very heavy.
Caribbean accent?
Yeah, the accent and slang, It's like region-specific slang. So when they say like murdered him informant now, it'll say at the bottom, killed a snitch. I'm like, but he said that, but just he meant something different with it. So I kind of wonder like how would it sound like doing like a a patois musical. Let me put that out to the universe. I'd love to do that.
I got you. We're going to have to connect with some. I'm certain there's some writers out there, and we can.
Yeah.
Probably easier said than done. Hey,
Yeah.
you hear it here first, folks. Diesel, what current projects are you working on?
Well, of course, this release, Higher Self Love Affair. Even though I haven't put out projects in a few years, I've been working on stuff. I'm working on the second version of the second release of Luke Beige, which is my I call it my toxic R&B alter ego.
Okay.
Because like the songs are pretty, I wouldn't say raunchy, but like they're out there, right? Like 'cause I'm not the greatest singer, so to make up for that, I try to have an entertaining value in there and try to be a trifling R&B singer with some of the stuff I put out there, and that's where I get some of my shadow self out as well.
I love it.
So I get to play with creative writing with doing that. Also got the Fam Likely album. We're like 95% done.
Sweet.
I keep wanting to add tracks to it. Tanger's like, no, stop. I'm like, but I was like, just one more.
Right.
Yeah, but it's done for the most part. I have another project working with a homie. He's a producer and artist. We Are Roses, and it's an experimental album where like the main theme of it is like mental health and dealing with the vulnerabilities in life. And I won't even say I'm rapping on it. Like when I'm rapping, it's kind of singing. It's really hard to explain. Like I'm experimenting a lot on that. Like he'll send me instrumentals, and I'll just do whatever I feel works on that instrumental.
Yeah.
And so I'm tapping into a lot of creative sides of me that are just not straight rapping. It's I'm affecting the voice a lot. I'm changing the cadence. I'm maybe just some rock style singing on there, some sound like a little countryish or whatever. Like, but I'm trying to do whatever like sounds good, just as long as the quality is up to par. That's all I care about. Like a big rule that I used to have coming up was like, hey, can it be done and does it sound good? If I hit those two margins, then I'll keep it. But like if it doesn't fit those two things, I'll delete it, try something else.
I love that. I love those two margins. It's fucking dope. You know,
Thank you.
when you mentioned Luke Beige, it made me think of RZA and how he
Mm,
goes by Bobby Digital.
mm,
Made me think about that, those alter egos. And, you know, I wanted to, hopefully I can remember a couple of things. Do you feel like you're a good reader of people? The
mm.
reason why I ask is because you said, I can tell Tangent's a good person because, his face lights up when, you mention things and he's always open and he's just a great person, heart on his sleeve. I know Personal is a great person because of, X, Y, and Z. Do you feel like you have a good sense of people and reading people?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna make a long story short, right?
Okay, okay.
Um, we use like 10% of our brains, right? And for the most part, we're receivers. Like, we talked about frequencies earlier.
Hmm.
So we're receivers, and a lot of stuff in our diet kind of dilutes that over time. Like, a lot of stuff that gives us cancer could be like in our health and beauty products or in our food, the vapors and chemicals that were around for everyday uses, right? And I think either once you get away from that stuff or just when you really embrace who you are, that barrier lifts a little bit, so you can kind of like you're more open to receiving those
Mm.
frequencies and sounds. And I have a condition that's called synesthesia. I hope
Okay,
it's
you see colors.
yeah. So I associate sound with colors. So like when I hear a song on the radio, that song may be brown to me or blue or whatever. And there's a whole psychology based off what those colors mean to you, whatever.
Hmm.
And so the same thing with people. We're all a frequency. We all vibrate. So you have your own frequency. You're
Mm.
vibrating to me, so I can see like color lines around you.
Right now?
Yeah,
What
like
color am I?
purple, orange. There's a thin layer of black, and a lot of people have that. That's their armor.
Hmm.
And a layer of white. There's a small layer of white on the inside. On the outside, there's a bigger layer of white. I gotta figure out what that means according to you.
Okay.
But some people, they could be their colors are vibrant, or some is a thin layer on them.
Hmm.
And so when people come to me, when they start talking, when they start giving off their energy and their frequency, it kind of lets me know who they are. And sometimes people's whole energy can enter the room before they do. Or like they
Yes.
come in the room and
Yes.
suck the air out of you, like,
Yes.
hey, bro, get right. What's up with you? Or like, I got to get away from this. You guys are vibrating low right now. That's not where I want to be at.
Hmm. Or the opposite, right?
Yeah,
Someone
or
can come in
opposite.
with
Yeah,
with a different type of a good energy,
yeah.
right?
Like,
Like,
like I
ooh,
want to be here.
yeah.
Like, hey, let's talk. Tell me everything about you.
Diesel, I want to thank you again for being on the Empire, man.
Thank you.
Let's say 100 years pass by, 250 years pass by. What would you like your empire to look like? Whether that is music, family, mental health, synesthesia, being a girl dad, whatever. What would you like your empire to look like 250 years from
My vision of peace is like when I've walked into an elderly person's home and all the books are arranged nicely. There's a fresh pot of coffee going on. There's not a lot of sound. They may not have a TV in their living room. It just feels nice and peaceful. And my utopia in my brain is having a life or a memory of what that embodies to me. So when people remember me, when they remember what Diesel was, or who knows, I may get robot parts to still be around, right? Shout out to Bicentennial Man.
now? That part.
I'm
Robin
investing
Williams,
in
shout
it.
out to Robin Williams. Yep.
Exactly. So like, I hope to still be around. I'm banking on that. But it was a good. I want to be a good memory and not a stain, right? Like I don't want to be like people how they view Hitler, right? That's a stain in history. That's a
Hmm.
stain in people's memory. But like, man, like that song that guy did, that my great 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 grandpappy used to sing, and pass down to generations. That meant a lot to me. That's good stuff. Hey, that guy learned how to smile. He learned how to. I tell people I try to find the cold spot in hell. In theory, hell is all burning, right? It's all suffering, but you can find a cool spot that doesn't necessarily exist, but maybe in your head it exists. you can get past all the bad stuff if you have that shred of hope, that light at the end of the tunnel. And that's what I want to be to people. Just remind them, hey, even on your worst day, a smile could be all you need to get through to the next one.
I love that. That's your empire. I love that. Maybe your kids might be singing unfollow, delete, and block them.
You know, protect your peace. You know,
Yeah, they might be doing that. I've been looking at the medallion on your neck. What does it symbolize? What does it represent to you?
this is amethyst.
Amethyst.
My favorite gem, right? Amethyst. Sailors used to have it. It's supposed to ward off drunkenness and being lost, and it said it would keep them from like going to shore and messing with the maidens and the harem houses and whatnot, and it would help them come back home. So their excuse probably was, "Oh, baby, I left my stone at home. That's why I hooked up with all these wenches,
Yeah.
or like I got drunk because blah 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 blah." But I travel a lot, or I was a school bus driver for 7 years, Uber for 4. I'm always going new places and this and that, and so like just it may even be a placebo effect, but for me, like it helps me feel like I stay balanced and just remember, hey, where home is. Hey, stay centered. Don't lose yourself. Always be composed, and protect your peace and your energy, and unfollow, delete, and block the things in life that don't matter to you.
Amen.
That can hurt you.
I love that. I love that.
Shout out to the Cryptic Company, by the way, for the personal, custom piece.
Hey, there it is. Diesel, can you please let everybody know how they can find you, support you, all those great things, man? Go to the shows, Dapper up. Can you let everybody know they can do those things?
You can find me on everything, DZYL5K1. No other spelling. That's on Instagram, that's Snapchat, that's TikTok, that's X now. Xbox. You want to go co-op? We can run it with some zombies. Hit me up, add me. But DZYL5K1. That's on everything. Add an apostrophe if you look for me on streaming sites, because I'm on every single streaming site. I got a big catalog on there. Dapper Up Entertainment, Dapper Up ENT on IG. That's what me and my team throw shows under. Hit us up. If we're not familiar with you, come do an open mic so we can get familiar with what you do, so we can know where to place you. Send us footage. Send us your music. We want to help. We want to help you out. We all got our jobs. We make money. We're not trying to get rich off of it. We just want to help contribute to our communities. We help contribute to history. Like you could have performed that song that night, and that changed your whole life.
Boom.
Saved your life or helped out generations of you. You never know unless you went out and do it. And like if we can in some way facilitate that, then like I can sleep better at night.
Yeah, leaving a positive stain.
Amen.
Yeah, I love that. And ladies and gentlemen, all the links will be in the description. So that way, in case you guys got lost somehow, it'll be in the link in the description. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Diesel, of course, for being on. I want to thank all you guys who've gotten this far for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment down below what you guys thought. My name is Antonio D. Miles, the host. If you guys like the work that we've been doing here, you guys can help contribute and support our Cash App, which is $THEE Empire Podcast. We also have PayPal and other things that are in the description. And we appreciate everyone who appreciates the work that we do here. And even liking the video and sharing it is also another way you can do it. That doesn't cost you anything. And so we appreciate everybody. And Diesel, is there anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Thank you for having me, man. People don't have to care about what we say or what we do. So when they do, like it's very much appreciated. So thank you for providing the space for me to convey my feelings and thoughts to people. Thank you for the lovely interview and whatnot. Guys, if you want to come out to my album release party, I don't know when it's theirs, but come on out, or just come out to one of the shows at Dapper Up Entertainment at Fuego in Pomona. Check out my music, DZYL5K1 on everything. And love yourself. Who you are is okay. You could be who you are, and that's perfectly okay.
Yeah. Come as you were, as you were.
I want to touch on that a little bit. There's this song, I was just telling Tanjint about it. It's Labi Safri.
Continue.
He's a French artist. He does a song where Eminem samples "Hi, My Name Is" from. He does
Okay.
that song, but he has a song called "Watch Me," and it's a love song, but there's one really simple line in there that's it floors me every time. It just says, "Come and be all the things you are." It's just a way of just accepting whoever he was talking to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's what I try to tell people: just be who you are. Come and be who you are, because I love it. You
Yeah.
like it, I love it. You know, I want to tell it to my daughter, my son every day. Tell to everybody I know, like, hey, be who you are. It's okay. Don't make an excuse for who you are. Don't ever preface your presentation like, hey, this is going to be like this or blah blah blah, or make excuses for it. Like, no, be who you are and love it, because that's beautiful. Knowing who you are, loving and embracing who you are is the most beautiful thing you can do.
Amen. And it's the easiest thing you could do is be yourself.
Easy.
Right? Everything else is hard, and eventually you'll get caught
Mm-hmm.
being somebody else.
Exactly.
Because your true self will always show itself. And Diesel, thank you. It's an honor and a privilege for us to be able to have people come on and feel comfortable enough to share their stories with us and their intimate details. So very honored, and truly thank you, man, for sharing. And other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're out of here, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. All right, peace.
I said